Good evening, everybody. It's David Schlotthauer here with a very detailed tropical weather outlook and discussion live version on Tropical Storm Helene for September the 24th, 2024. Welcome aboard. Welcome into the stream. This is the time you need to invite your friends and family to the stream because we're going to be breaking down some real-time analysis like we did in last night's stream. Unfortunately, we do not have any recon data out in this. We did earlier at the time of recording my last video, but that is fine because we are going to do our own analysis with this system. So as we do take a look here at our long wave infrared satellite imagery, this is the mesofloater imagery looking at Tropical Storm Helene, and this is looking very, very organized by all means. It's blobby in nature, but we are starting to see more intense convective banding surrounding the system. We have really, really explosive convective cloud tops over the system. In fact, some of these are as cold as negative 100 degrees Celsius. That's really, really, really cold for these cloud tops to thrive in. And this means we have a lot of uplift, lots of heat, lots of latent heat release, taking full advantage with this. All that heat content being extrapolated out of the ocean, being fed into the atmosphere. And so what we're seeing here is some very deep thunderstorms going on right now near the Yucatan Channel. And based on this may be in the early stages of rapid intensification for tonight. I wish we got another recon mission underway to see and to sample if the pressure has dropped in any more. But last update is it's down to about 988, 989 millibars. And we'll show you that here in a little bit on our forecast on the NHC. But right now, boy, this is very intense. And if we look at a visible satellite perspective before the sun went down, you can see that the system did not look, it looked organized, but it looks a lot healthier right now. And just before the sun went down, look at right here, a new burst, a much deeper burst of thunderstorm convection shaped up. And it just continues. And then now recently, we have really tall cloud tops that are causing a really white mass to show up on the imagery. And this is infrared right now. And we're also approaching Dmax, which means diurnal max, which the system should take full advantage of. So let's go and look at the National Hurricane Center outlook on this system. And as we can see, there are hurricane warnings out, and this is not just a major hurricane point here. This is a 120 mile an hour forecast, and my intensity is unchanged from the last one, and I still expect that this is still going to become a 125 mile an hour hurricane as it moves towards the Big Bend of Florida, perhaps even 130 miles an hour. That is not surprising if we see something like that. Tropical storm warnings are in effect for most of Florida right now. We got tropical storm watches out over Jacksonville, Jacksonville, Florida. Impressive. This is really going far out from the system. And in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up the legacy version of the NHC cone. So we're going to see something a little different here. So let's bring this up because this is what we really should be looking at. Same thing, it's just the legacy version of it. And look at this. We have hurricane watches all the way into southern Georgia. Yeah, I mean, that's southern Georgia under hurricane watch. We got tropical storm watches all the way into almost central Georgia and southeastern Georgia. And again, for Jacksonville, Florida, under a tropical storm watch. And then, of course, down here, there is a tropical storm warning and a tropical, or actually a hurricane watch. There's a little bit of red, and I'll zoom in and look at the warnings here in better detail on who is under a watch actually. But hurricane warning, this will become a hurricane by tonight. That is what the NHC is forecasting right now, that this will become a hurricane. We have hurricane warnings up for eastern Yucatan Peninsula. I'm still a little surprised, though, they don't have a hurricane warning out for the westernmost tip of Cuba, but there is a hurricane watch to cover that risk, by the way. But down here, a lot of flooding, lots of heavy rainfall, mudslides, rock slides, that sort of thing, and then eventually coming up here into the Big Bend of Florida. So that's that, the legacy version of this. Now, looking at the key messages, and I did show this in my live stream or in my video today, that I really want to cover these and as in much detail as we can. There's a lot to go over in tonight's live stream. That's why I'm going to be very thorough, very calm and relaxed, so that way I don't panic people. That's not what we're here for. We are really going to have to get into, we're going to have to really dive into this. So Helene is forecast to intensify to be near hurricane strength when it passes near the northeastern coast of the Yucatan Peninsula on Wednesday, where a hurricane warning is in effect. Helene is expected to rapidly intensify and grow in size over the eastern Gulf of Mexico. So again, folks, we're not just talking about a strengthening hurricane, but we're also talking about a system that's going to grow in size. There is a danger of life-threatening storm surge along the entire west coast of Florida Peninsula and the Big Bend area. The highest inundation levels are expected along the coast of the Florida Big Bend. Residents in those areas need to follow advice given by local officials, and evacuation orders will be needed. And if there are evacuation orders, you need to follow those, all right? If you're told to evacuate, please do, all right? They should actually have a law that if you are under an evacuation order, you must evacuate, or else there could be serious action. They should make a law for that, because people like to say, I'm going to stay behind. I don't think I should evacuate. Some people like to ride these systems out, and it's really unfortunate. Damaging hurricane force winds are expected along portions of the coast of the Florida Big Bend, where a hurricane warning is now in effect. Preparations to protect your life and property should be completed by Tuesday, or not Tuesday, today's Tuesday, actually Wednesday for some of you. Thursday, since tropical storm conditions are expected to begin within the area on Thursday. Tropical storm Helene will bring heavy rain to portions of the Western Caribbean, with potentially significant flooding across Western Cuba and the northeastern Yucatan Peninsula. Considerable flash and urban flooding is expected. So we're talking about major river flooding, major street flooding, major urban flooding, folks. This is not good. This is not what we want to hear about. We really don't need to hear about this, right? But it is really important that the NHC does bring this out to you all, because, yeah, they're doing their job after all, right? So looking at the 10 o'clock advisory on the most likely arrival time of tropical storm force winds, with the chances of those winds occurring, and I'll tell you right now, there is a 100% chance that you will see tropical storm force winds now. That means it's going to happen. It's likely. There is no 0 chance, there's no 5% chance of tropical storm force winds occurring with this. All right. So this needs to be taken really seriously. Hey, can you guys hear me? Am I live? I want to make sure I am actually live. I hope YouTube is not having an issue here because I'm looking at it on my end and there is a connection problem. So I'm really hoping that you guys could hear. Okay, so we're good. All right, because all of a sudden just went out on me. So I just wanted to make sure you guys could hear me just fine. So the Big Bend of Florida is under that risk for hurricane force winds. And of course, there's that likelihood for tropical storm force winds. There is a 100% chance. Also for Tampa Bay, Florida, there is still a risk for tropical storm force winds, certainly a 70 to 80% chance of Tampa Bay seeing tropical storm force winds with this system. Now, when we look at the greatest risk of flash flooding over the next 5 days, this is what it's looking like for Tallahassee, Atlanta, Chattanooga, Knoxville. Now, this has been expanded just a little bit to the north and a little bit to the west because to account that westward shift that I'm about to show you, Augusta is under a moderate risk for some flash flooding. And this is really big, folks. This is not your, oh, this is just a little small moderate risk area. No, this goes all the way well to the north, well away from the coast of the Big Bend of Florida, away from the Gulf Coast. And look at, you do not need a hurricane to get impacts in Springfield and St. Louis, where there is a slight risk for heavy rainfall, flooding. That means there's a slight risk for river flooding, there's a slight risk for urban and street flooding. And yeah, I mean, this is a big system. This is going to impact a lot of people, not just a localized system like Ian did. See, Ian went like this. Well, of course it impacted here eventually, but it was really localized. In this case, this is not localized. This goes all the way up even into Pennsylvania, all the way up into Springfield, into Indianapolis, Columbus. Man, I mean, this is a really big system. And even, yeah, my friend Ethan that lives in central Indiana is under a marginal risk for heavy rainfall with this. All right. And I will be covering the tornado risk in this live stream as well. So you can see here over Georgia, that whole area, looking at a moderate risk for heavy rainfall and flooding. Speaking of severe weather with this system, let's actually go to that because there is a slight risk for severe weather for the southeastern United States. And right now it's just probabilistic. And so we don't get our tornado chances, hail chances, or wind chances, but there is a slight risk for severe weather over this area. I am assuming that this is driven by the risk for tornadoes. We're going to have a pretty significant tornado threat with this, I believe, especially in the right front quadrant. Right in this area is where I think we could have a few strong tornadoes perhaps moving through northern Florida with this. So it's not just hurricane force winds and some heavy rainfall. It's also the risk that you're going to see tornadoes as well. And that would be for Thursday and a Friday. Now, back to the rainfall forecast. This just is an eye-opener to me when I see something like this, and this has not updated yet. Hopefully this will update. Actually, no, wait, through 8 p.m. tonight, so they should be getting a new update here soon on this. And look at the rainfall totals. Just look at the chart here, or the legend. We're up to 8 inches in the forecast here for Western Florida, for Atlanta, Georgia, a very big metropolitan area. Excuse me, I just had dinner, so not trying to burp here on the stream, so sorry if I just kind of pause for a second. But yeah, Atlanta, 8 to 9 inches of rainfall. And look at these red colors. See these little red blips? That's a foot of rainfall. I mean, this is not the deep tropics over here. This is more kind of the subtropics in latitude. And look at this. I mean, tropical-like rainfall totals. Knoxville, you could get up to 6 inches, 7, maybe 8 inches of rainfall. Roanoke, you could get up to 4 to 6 inches of rainfall out of this system. So this is a rain master, and including for Springfield, gonna get up to about 4 to 5 inches, but especially right in this corridor. I am putting a big black box over it right now. If you're in this box, we could see some considerable flash flooding that we have not seen probably since at least Debbie. Well, Debbie was more down here, but it's been a while since a lot of you folks have had a big rainstorm that lasts for about a couple of days or so that could lead to a lot of flood problems. And I used to live in Augusta, Georgia, and so I do know Georgia really well, and I'm telling you, this is all hilly. We got a lot of trees. It's like kind of the rolling hills kind of deal, and so you do get some lift, some upslope flow right here when you get this southeasterly flow, and it really squeezes out all that moisture over that area. So if you are in these areas, a localized area, orographic prone area, this, I mean, yeah, it's reality. You're going to see flooding that you have not seen in a pretty long time, perhaps. Now, this peak storm surge forecast. So we talked about the freshwater flooding. That comes from the heavy rainfall and also due to the fact that it's going to come down in a short amount of time. I'm actually going to add my face cam on here because I really want to be firm with this part of the discussion. If I could actually add it, there we go. So let me blow my face up a little bit. All right. So these storm surge forecasts are to be taken really seriously. The NHC does not do this just to scare people or anything. It's based on modeling. It's based on the angle of attack, or AOA for short. Yes, I still play Flight Simulator, that kind of thing. And AOA stands for area of attack or angle of attack. And you get this onshore flow like this that moves into the Big Bend like Steinhatchee, Florida. There's going to be formidable storm surge inundation here, up to 15 feet. And this could be generous, given that they now forecast a 120 to 125 mile an hour hurricane. Well, personally, I predict a 125 mile an hour hurricane. We could see peak storm surge in isolated areas in this area, within this purple magenta area, up to 18 feet or more. 18 feet or more of storm surge in some areas. That is unsurvivable. That is unimaginable. Think about how tall 18 feet is. That's well above your head. I mean, that's 2 6-foot human or fully grown human beings. Imagining each one is 6 feet, and well, you watch cheerleading before at football games, how the girl will stand on top of the other girl while they'll raise up their feet and they'll stand them up. That's what we're kind of illustrating here. This is 2.5 times the average adult height of about 5.5 to 6 feet. That says it all right there. So when we look at the storm surge, so let me take my face cam off. There we go. So what we have here is significant amount of storm surge. And this is an interactive map you could find on the National Hurricane Center at noaa.gov/refresh/graphics for more information. Actually, well, it would be under one of the thumbnails. So when you go here, you just click on storm surge inundation like this, and then you'll get an image that looks like this. And this is pretty much the potential storm surge flood map. So areas that have a foot of storm surge are areas that flood. All right, essentially anything that you see right here is going to be some pretty big flooding. So when we see this, and let me actually use the satellite imagery type of map, you can get an idea. Apalachicola, that is, you could see storm surge up to 6 feet above ground level. Some of the swamplands here, really significant. And look at this right here. Man, I wish... Let me change the opacity. There we go. So I can read the cities to you. Carabel Beach, you could see up to 9 feet of storm surge. And then we go up a little bit here. Some of these areas, Skipper. By the way, thank you for the $30 donation. I do appreciate that. VTR, very much for the $30 donation. You are extremely awesome. Thank you for the support. So Surf, Ponica Park, getting up to 9 feet of storm surge. Wakala Beach, Live Oak Island, possibly greater than 10 feet of storm surge. Plum Orchard, 10 feet plus of storm surge. Anything in red here is 9 feet above ground level. There's your legend right there. Right there. You can't miss it. 9 feet above ground level. That is bad. That is scary. That is not good. Okay? So, when we look at Hickory Mound Unit, Big Bend Wildlife Management Area, this area is just going to be inundated. Just absolutely unfortunate for wildlife. I mean, alligators live in the water, but like birds, reptiles, or that are not waterborne, but they live away from the water, but they go to the water, of course, to kind of cool off. I would if I was down here. But the storm surge here is just going to be immense. Fish Creek, these little towns, Deckle Beach, Keaton Beach, up to 15 feet of storm surge, folks. 15 feet of storm surge is possible. And again, these peak areas, and I'll tell you which areas. Right here, especially these inlets that are perpendicular to the wind flow, that the wind flow does this, right? You're going to get peak areas in these isolated areas up to 18 feet of storm surge. 18 feet. All right, imagine that. Even over here, 18 feet of storm surge in Natal Rise in Florida. As we go further south, let's go Horseshoe Beach. Yes, here's Horseshoe Beach. Definitely in some serious trouble. Shred Island, Swanee River, I think that is. Wait, no. Swanee, little town there. These little rivers really going to get some inundation. And look at, all the way back. Yeah, all the way back here till Wilcox Junction, Old Town, Fanning Springs, just getting some significant amounts of storm surge with this, okay? And as we go further south, Cedar Key, yes, we have a few viewers that live down here in Cedar Key. 10 to 15 plus feet of storm surge is anticipated. And then most importantly, where we're getting into the more populated areas, Crystal River, red level. As we go further south, Pine Island. If you are in, let's see, Tapron Springs. And this is really alarming. Let me actually turn up the opacity a little bit. We can see that any areas that are land, essentially, this is remarkable. Okay, let me use red, right? Right here, anything in red, these islands are going to be wiped clean. Okay, these little key areas just going to be all sand, or we will be covered with water. We'll see inundation completely over these areas. And if any houses, we do have population. And actually, let's go to Google Maps, because I really want to, this is part of these live streams that I do, to including a lot of detail. And the detail here is specific locations. So these areas, this is a that is a resort right there. So if we go back and look at our storm surge forecast, that's down in here, right? I want to make sure. That's over here. So we go a little north. Look at all the orange areas. Storm surge 6 feet above ground. Areas in the red. So essentially, this could be completely flooded. This could have Gulf waters inundating. Anyone in this area, it doesn't matter if you, I live far enough away, I live over here, or I live over here. It doesn't matter. You're going to have 6 to 8 feet of storm surge in your area, because you got to understand, the Gulf waters are going to spill over into the bay here, and this bay is going to swell. You're going to get a lot of issues, okay? A lot of issues, including down here to the south. If we go back and look at that, orange and red indicates, again, 6 to 9 feet above ground level. This area right here will be completely underwater. And we will be providing live cameras when we go live. Yes, I am planning to go live on Thursday. I've already made arrangements I've already made arrangements of not going to church Thursday night for this. Because this is that serious of a level of situation. It takes a lot for me to cancel plans with friends that I visit or that I go to church with, and I am going to cancel. I'm going to cancel church that Thursday night because this is a serious, life-threatening, perhaps unsurvivable situation. Okay, unsurvivable, especially in the Big Bend of Florida. Now, going further south, anything, look at this. North Reeton Beach here, North Reeton Beach, you're looking at 6 to 9 feet above ground level, and that's down here. Again, this is a pretty area. We got people that live here. I mean, this, if you're by water, you're going to get flooded. You're just going to get flooded, and I just pray, I really pray that people really take this seriously because this is free. These products that the National Hurricane Center provides are 100% free. There's no charge at no cost. And you got to take advantage of these. You really do. Storm surge inundation over the rest of the St. Petersburg, Tampa Bay area. I mean, very populated area. We have houses. We got a lot of homes in this area. Right here, just a big populated, densely populated area is just going to get inundated. And look at this. Look at this. Cape Coral, Fort Myers Beach. I have cameras that we will be using down here too for my live stream. And geez, I mean, all the way down here, we're looking at 9 feet of storm surge, potentially 9 feet of storm surge. And yes, even down here, 6 feet of storm surge all the way down. So essentially the entire coast of Florida here could be seeing storm surge inundation greater than 6 to 9 feet. And especially over here, like I said, the Big Bend, up to 18 feet of storm surge is certainly a possibility. The stronger this hurricane gets, essentially, and I want to make it clear, the stronger this hurricane gets, the higher the storm surge will actually become. And that's why this could be generous. If this becomes a strong Cat 3, or no, wait. If this becomes a mid to high grade Cat 4 hurricane, we could see storm surge greater than 20 feet. 20 feet in the Big Bend of Florida. All right, so this is the official Cone Again interactive map. You can go to zoomearth.com, a very good website that I highly recommend. And here's why I recommend it. Here is exactly why I recommend it. Because, look at this. You can measure distance. You could literally measure distance on this. So, from where it's at now, it's about 121 miles away from Cancun in the Yucatan in Mexico. And then you go over here, and you go up, and you follow the path here. It is about, let's see how far it is away. 733 miles away until landfall over this area. Pretty cool. Crawfordville, probably about 735 miles before landfall. Pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool that this map provides us with all of this data. And yeah, you could even look at pressure on this so you can see what the pressure looks like. Now, of course, this is based on the GFS, and I don't know why it's lagging so bad tonight. Okay. But you can see the pressure here is definitely lower than 998 millibars. But as you can see, it's going to be a lot stronger once it gets into the Gulf of Mexico. We can look at our temperature forecast and we can look at our precipitation, but I'm going to show you something pretty remarkable on this system, and it's Doppler radar. So now that we talked about everything there, actually let's look at our hurricane models and then we will get to our current analysis. The favorite part everybody's probably waiting for. David, get through this whole discussion, please. We want to know what's going on in real time. All right, I will do that. I will try. Remember, this is in video format once it gets released. So that is why I'm thorough and I'm detailed with all of this. A lot of people really like my channel for that reasoning, so we got to step it up. We do. We got to kind of add more features to this. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through now all of the hurricane models before they render, okay? And actually, before we do that, we're going to run through the GFS model and see what it's actually showing. Actually, it's 12 hours in, so we will wait for that. Which, by the way, the GFS has strengthened with this system with each progressive model run. So 2 model runs ago is at 1,000 millibars. The last run, it was at 995 millibars. Now it's down to 990 millibars. So now that it's intense, more intense than what the GFS originally thought, means that this could be even stronger once it gets into the Big Bend. And we'll see what the GFS does once it renders all the way out to the Big Bend, okay? But in the meantime, we're going to be looking at our HWRF model, our Hurricane Weather Research model, okay? And when we play this through, we can see that the system will be near hurricane intensity. I think it's going to be a little stronger than this. And in fact, I still cannot be reluctant at looking at the 06Z run from last night because it's probably as realistic in some degree, not completely, probably not like this, but it does show that hurricane because, again, we got to look at the NHC. They are forecasting a hurricane right over here, and the HWRF is nearly in that direction, okay? So when looking at this, this still has a really high ceiling of a 922 millibar system, all right? But when we look at the latest run, we will see, because right now it's a lot weaker, and that's why we're going to have to wait for our 0Z. It's actually better if we wait for our 0Z. I don't want to use old information. I don't want to be called out for that, so actually we'll probably stay away from using the 06Z run and wait for the 0Z anyways, because the new recon data was fed into that. So we did not get recon for this run, so it's assuming based off of satellite, and you know, satellite with a formative stage system is not the best to use. But this does show a major hurricane or near major hurricane intensity on landfall of the Big Bend of Florida. You can see it right here. Purple colors are hurricane force winds. And if we actually look at our measurement here from the center, hurricane force winds go all the way out to 67 nautical miles out, 66 or 60 nautical miles out there. So this is a really, really big wind field on this side. This whole area, really, really big. Okay. Now, when we look at the HMON, and which, by the way, this would make landfall still Thursday night, is what we're thinking right now. Thursday night, not Thursday morning like what we thought a couple of days ago. The HMON has come in, the 18Z. We're waiting for our 0Z runs. Again, we are going to do it like we did last night, folks. We are going to be here until about 11:30 tonight to give you the latest analysis, model run data, and all of the details that you need to know of, okay? So HMON still thinks that this will be a hurricane. That's what we're thinking right now, 978 millibars. And then it really groups up and strengthens a little bit here down to 937 millibars as it approaches here the Big Bend of Florida. And remember, that backside of the system right here, this onshore flow, boy, I'm telling you, that storm surge is going to be catastrophic as this moves inland. All right, out ahead of it, the storm surge will definitely be picking up, but you're going to have more southeasterly flow and even offshore flow. So that storm surge is going to be rapidly on the increase once the backside of the system actually moves on in. Okay. And look at this. That's a 120 knot system, so that's a Category 4 hurricane on the HMON. The Halves A model, let's look at that run right now, and that is showing about a hurricane. So this is down to 976 millibars, definitely a lot closer to the Yucatan Peninsula, and then this moves off, and then it really strengthens. Look at this. This is a strong Category 4 hurricane on our Halves A. This is the 18Z initialization, folks. 18Z run. We are going to wait for our 0Z runs to come in, and I'm telling you right now, This is showing a strong Category 4 hurricane with 135 mile an hour. Oh, wait, no. 150, 155 mile an hour winds. And this is more compact, but good grief. Jesus. Look at the storm surge on this. The onshore flow, that would be pretty mind-boggling. That would just be terrible. Just plain on terrible. Thank you so much, Hale Sagan. I do appreciate that. So, very compact system on this run, and it is really intense. Really, really intense. And this remains a formidable tropical storm, if not even a hurricane, over the southernmost portion of Georgia and northern Florida by the overnight hours of Thursday into Friday. Again, this is moving onshore pretty quickly, so it's going to take some time for it to spin down. And this is not drifting onshore, so the impacts will go well inland. Here's the Halves B run showing us something similar. But look at what it does. It is also very intense in the same area, showing us a Category 4 hurricane. So 2 of the models, actually 3 models. Yeah, that's 3 models that want this to a Category 4 intensity. Okay, Category 4 hurricane still on these 3 models, except for the H-Warp. But we'll see what the 0Z runs do once those come in. But looking pretty scary, looking very unfortunate. This would be so devastating. And when we look at our tropical storm force winds here over St. Pete as well as Tampa Bay, you're getting winds of about 55 to 70 miles an hour. So that would be very strong tropical storm to near hurricane force. Okay, so that's what this is showing. Thank you, Blue Wolf 313 for the donation. And also I want to say thank you, Hale, for the donation as well. Love the attention to detail and the use of tools. I do appreciate all the donations tonight, folks. I mean, this really means a lot. It really does. Because, again, that allows me to do my job even better. You know, there's competition out there on YouTube, so we got to be the best out. Well, I don't want to try to be the best, but it's natural to me. We got to be the best, right? So the hurricane model, the 18Zs are in, and that's what it's showing. But what about our GFS? Let's see. Down to 968 millibars on this right now. Wait, actually? Yeah, is that 965? I thought I just saw something. 958. 958. 958 right here, folks. 958 on the GFS right now. Wow. This really has intensified. Look at the dramatic increase. Look at this. 978 on the 12Z GFS this morning. The 12Z GFS. 978 millibars. Look at the next run. 967. That's the 18Z run. Now 958 millibars. That is a dramatic drop in pressure within the last couple of model runs of the GFS. And it has trended further to the west. A little bit to the west. Okay. Also, it is very important to note, look at this band of very heavy rainfall. Okay. Look at that. That is not good at all. And you can see it's going to be raining and it's going to be pouring there for several hours on end. And that is why I am really concerned. There could be a high risk for flooding. I'm being dead serious. I am not hyping this up, or I am kind of hyping it up for a good reason, because this is devastating. This is devastating. Let's go to the Gulf of Mexico and look at our rainfall forecast as this comes in. Yeah, look at this. Right along the Florida coast, right there, you're looking at 13 inches. 13 inches of rain right here. 13 inches. Let's see what the European model has in mind. Yeah, a little weaker on the Euro because it's weaker, of course. The Canadian is just coming in, but if we look at the 12Z run, yeah, look at this. Just phenomenal. Even look at Atlanta, Georgia, 14 inches of rainfall, up to a foot of rainfall over here in the, where is that at? Let's see. Let's go up there really quickly. I got to get my cities down, though. Crawfordville right there. I'm getting up to a foot of rainfall. Let's go into Georgia. Let's see what there's... Yeah, look at this. This whole area on the Canadian model, just very, very aggressive with the rainfall totals. I mean, pretty mind-boggling. Even the NAM 12 kilometer, really bullish too on the rainfall totals. And when we look at the NAM 3 kilometer at our high resolution, yeah, I mean, come on. This is a big deal right here. This narrow area could see almost 30 inches of rainfall. And then right here over the Atlanta, Georgia, even some of the mountainous terrain up here, possibly 20 to 24 inches of rainfall. That's 2 feet of rainfall, 2 feet of water, not 2 feet of snow, not 2 feet of hail. That's 2 feet of water. Okay, and then the Atlanta area, you could see as much as 10 to 12 inches of rainfall potentially, according to the latest NAM 3 kilometer. Man, that is pretty dope right there with how much rainfall is expected. Now, let's see where we're at. Yeah, so this makes landfall at 955 millibars. 955 millibars on the GFS. Now, again, this is probably generous given the huge uptrend that we have seen. I mean, look at this. Okay, I know it's hard to see this. All right, 972. In fact, if we go over to the NAM, I don't know how far it has rendered in to Weatherbell. Okay, it has rendered far enough in. So let me just show you this. This is pretty remarkable. And actually, let me see. Yeah, Georgia gives me, actually, I can't zoom in. Or I could zoom in, but it won't give me the pressure data. So we're actually going to have to do this. So, this is, I don't know why it's giving me, hold on. That's 955 millibars. Just take my word for it. This is 955. I don't know why it doesn't. Yeah, see right there? The geopotential height, it's 955. So you can barely see that. But let's go back and let's look at the last 3 runs. 973 millibars. See that, folks? 973, 18Z, 967. And then really, look at this. Down to 955 millibars. So there has been a huge uptrend on the GFS model. Really big uptrend in the last few runs. And that really concerns me because I only imagine if all the models are uptrending tonight, I only imagine what the 0Z models are going to show. So looking at the icon model as we go forward, yeah, this is a 100 mile an hour hurricane. Wow. The icon really bullish, very bullish tonight. And it is down to 948 millibars at landfall. 948, and if we look at the previous run, also the pressure has dropped on this run a lot more. 955 on that 12Z run, just as intense. And then the 06Z run, I mean, this has been a really bullish forecast. And tonight's run is by far the most bullish. Yeah, 947, actually. Okay, we got 947 right before landfall on the icon model, which is not a high-resolution model. And it does show us here that there could be winds approaching Category 2 intensity. But, of course, this is not a hurricane-specific model, so it's not going to give us the exact wind speed. I think it's going to be a lot stronger than what this model is showing based on our pressure. But, wow, devastation. Devastation is coming with this system. And looking at the rainfall totals, pretty significant as well. So uptrends in the icon, and let's see if it's uptrended on the Canadian. I want to just look at the 0Z Canadian. Yeah, I don't know where the Canadian is on this. I still don't know where it's at on this because it's still showing that this system is going to be very broad. and it has not uptrended. The Canadian and European model have just not seen this system very well, I feel like. Just not showing the full scope of this. We'll see, though, if the GFS comes to fruition. Maybe the GFS, with its new model upgrades, sees things better than the European model. But even the APHIS model is showing 967 millibars at landfall and a pretty strong tropical storm. But, of course, this is not high resolution. So this would be a formidable hurricane hitting the northeastern Gulf of Mexico in Florida. All right, so now I'm going to do something a little crazy, and I encourage you all to not use the NAM 3 kilometer because I've gotten some questions and some people leaving comments about, oh my gosh, the NAM 3 kilometer is showing an 890 millibar system. You know, it's one of the worst models. It's one of the most intense bullish models. I want to give you some background on this. Okay, the NAM 3 kilometer model is, for one thing, not a hurricane-specific model. It's more used for severe weather, for synoptic weather scenarios, like if there's a big winter storm, if there's a big ice storm, or if there's a tornado outbreak, right? That's what these models are for. They are not trained and specific for hurricanes. So you need to use this with great caution. For one thing, what I'm about to show you, we're just going to look through this very quickly. Just to show you just how aggressive this model actually is. All right, so let's play through this very quickly. And I mean, literally, come on, 877 millibars, not happening. Not going to happen at all. Not going to happen. Because if it does happen, I'll tell you what right now, that is 100 million% a Category 5 hurricane. That would be devastating. And actually, I just want to see the sounding on this. Look at the winds on this. I mean, this would be formidable. Very formidable system. And it's bad. It's really, 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 really strong on this. You can even see the wind barbs here. That's 200 knot winds right there. 200 knot winds. Like, come on. 200 knot winds is not going to happen. It's not going to happen at all. And if it does happen, boy, I'm telling you, the world is going to end. No, it's not literally going to end. All right, I don't want to... I hope I didn't scare you all on that. I sure hope I didn't, but geez. This would be serious. Very serious. And you can see just how strong it would be at the surface if this came to pass. Yeah, winds at the surface are not bad, but if we actually look up, say 2,000 feet, 5,000 feet. Look at this. 5,000 foot level winds, 216 miles an hour. 216 miles an hour. You got to ask yourself that, okay, that's not going to happen. That would be absolutely historic and absurd, very absurd if it did actually happen. Because look at that. Those would be winds over Carabel at over 200 miles an hour. That would be wind gusts over 200 miles an hour, even at the surface. Or not, yeah. So, again, use this with caution. It's always fun to look at. I'll be honest. It's always fun to look at, but, you know, for doomcasters out there, yes. But yeah, look at this. 230 mile an hour winds. Big time outlier. Big time outlier. Not going to happen. I don't care what you guys say that, David, what if it does? Because it's not. It's not going to happen. But yes, in theory, if it did happen, it would be as strong as Patricia, if not stronger than Typhoon Tip, okay, with its central pressure. And yeah, the central pressure on this would be 2599 inches. 2599 inches. And yeah, it would even get deeper. Look at that, 94 inches in mercury. That would be, I mean, wow. Wow, 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 wow. So, yeah, I'm not putting stock into this. You guys could at your own risk, but I'm not. I am definitely not doing that. Here's a look at the satellite imagery on that. I'm very curious to see with what it actually looks like. I'm very curious. I am very curious. Let's take a look. Yeah, look at that system. Look with what it looks like. It does get the landfall area down pretty well, though, for Thursday late night, for about, say, 8 or 9 o'clock in Florida time. But yeah, outlier, hypecaster model, I'll tell you right now. That's a black hole. Kind of, I guess. So, I should have not showed you that, but I just wanted you to learn from something that, okay, yes, what models do I use and what models do I not use? And the model you don't use is the NAM 3-kilometer model. I'm just curious what the HRRR actually shows too. I don't think that does go out to 2 days. And I'm also curious on what it would do to the system. Okay, tropical tidbits. Okay, come on. There we go. Yeah, see the tropical tidbits, even look at the HRRR, it wants this at a 990 millibar system at landfall. I mean, that's also underhyping it quite a bit. That's why you don't use these models. We just don't. We can't. We can't. Maybe in one of these days, maybe the NAM will be able to incorporate that. But also a believable model is the WRF model, showing a 9, not a hurricane-specific model, but more realistic at 957. When we look at our WRF 2 model, very possible this one has it down to 922 millibars. Now again, not saying it's going to get this intense, but 922 is in the realm of possibility. We saw that on our hurricane models. So it is a very slim possibility, but also we cannot get this. We don't see this over the Yucatan channel until it emerges into the Gulf. By the way, Ghostface75, thank you for the $5 donation. So, yeah, this would be a formidable hurricane on this particular model as it moves over Crawfordville, near Crawfordville, Florida. And that would be 922 millibar system. And you can see the cloud formation as well right there. You can see that eye. Pretty well noted. So that is a possibility, a realm of that. All right. So if anything, the WRF, I don't know how consistent it has been, though. Let me look at previous model runs. Let me look at the 12Z run. Yeah, see, this is not consistent. That goes for, yeah, see, it goes from 957 to 930 millibars. So this is why you really got to be careful with these models. These change very abruptly. Very abruptly. And that's why we have our hurricane models. And that's why we're here tonight, waiting for those hurricane models. By the way, if you guys haven't liked the stream yet, please like the stream, all right? We are only at 300 likes, so be sure to like and also subscribe to the YouTube channel. All right? Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I cannot believe, to do a quick update on that, we are literally halfway, almost halfway to 29,000 subs. So I want to thank you all for supporting the channel thus far. Quite stupendous, very stupendous over the last couple of days. Big growth here on the channel. Big growth. Recon en route? Zach, you're kidding me. And as I would tell people, I'm not trying to be rude here. You're lying to me. All right, it's a joke. As when I say you're lying to me, you're joking. As in, they're not on their way, are they? They're not out there. They're not going out there. Are they really going out? What's up, Tons of Soup? So hopefully I did not offend you there, Zach. NOAA 9 takes off in 1 hour. Really? Yeah, they turned around. Okay. They are. So, yeah, so from earlier, there was that recon mission. They had to make a U-turn. They actually made a U-turn because of an engine problem. So hopefully that's resolved. And we have now a new recon mission en route. So after all, we will be providing this in the live stream. And it's a lot closer now, so it will be there sooner rather than later. So once they get in there, we will be able to bring you that data. Let's take a look at the latest on the system. Oh my gosh, this is really organizing. Wow, this is really taking flight tonight. The mesofloater better correct itself soon because it is not doing a good job right now. It moved too far to the north. And let's look at the current satellite. You know what? This is taking forever to load in. Which, by the way, 2941 inches is the pressure on this buoy, and the center is over here. So I imagine it's a lot deeper because the pressure hasn't gone up much. So inches HG, which stands for mercury for those people that like physics. Inches HG is inches in mercury. So 994 millibars, that is about, so it's about 994. Oh, wait, no, it's 995. So it is definitely below 990 millibars because that's some distance away. Yeah, 997, 995 actually in that distance makes perfect sense. So it's probably about 987 millibars right now until we get our recon mission out there. So, and Angelina, since you're awesome, I gave you a little surprise. You got a surprise, sweetheart. If you guys like the stream, as what Angelina said, please hit the like button and subscribe. Yeah, look at this. An inner core structure is definitely trying to form. Look at this. Very compact looking system. And if we actually go back and look at the imagery, very organized CDO overcast on this. You can see just kind of this shrimp look. Yeah, there is definitely a center forming on this. Definitely inner core structure. And it really remains to be seen what our Doppler radar actually shows. Oh, yeah. There is definitely an inner core structure forming. Oh, yeah. There is your eye wall. This convective pattern curving around like this. This is the beginnings of definitely something. Something is definitely forming. This is definitely developing in earnest. Let me make sure that is exactly where the center is. Let me go and look at that. Okay, good to know that radar data did not update. Why is it not updating? Yeah, it has not updated within the last hour. That's not helpful. So, actually, I do think it's somewhere over here now. There's definitely inner core structure. You know what? I'm going to see if I can get the Cancun radar involved. Shoot. Wait, maybe I can. It has not updated either. Okay, that's just not helpful. Okay. Well, we just have to play the guessing game, I guess. I think this looks to be a very compact system. Not somewhat a compact system, though. It is important to note, we are getting winds of 30 miles an hour from the southerly direction, which means our center is probably over about here, because our winds are doing this right now. They're doing that. But I'm telling you, woo, these cloud tops, they're spicy. They are spicy tonight. And in fact, they're so spicy that we have negative 130-degree cloud tops. And look at all the lightning developing on this. Look at all the lightning on this. Tons of lightning going on. So that is a sign that this is really taking flight. Oh, and there was a new lightning strike. So, yeah. This is real-time analysis, folks. This is the juicy part of this live stream until we get our new models in. Our 0Z hurricane models. And there was another strike. Look at that. They're really picking up right now. All these lightning strikes. And another one. Look at that. So we're going to get to questions, and then I'll get back to doing my discussion. We will be here until at least 11:30 tonight. Since we got a recon mission en route, we might even be here until 12:30 tonight, just like we did last night, until we get that first pass. Until we get that first pass. All right, so I could only get to so many questions at a time. Moderators, I need you to help with the questions as well. Help me answer those, because I want to get to as many as I can possible. What does the lightning mean in the tropical storm, David? It means it's quickly intensifying, Johnny, because when you have a lot of lightning within the system, that means you're getting so intense updrafts that the water droplets turn into ice crystals and they create a static charge. When that static charge gets released, you get lightning. And that's what we have. And right now, the center is somewhere over here right now, I believe. Somewhere over here, in fact. So it is underneath, completely engulfed within this big CDO right now. Actually, it's pretty symmetrical right now. Pretty symmetrical. Oh, man, there's more lightning that just popped up, too. Man, those lightning strikes really going off. David, earlier on Pat's stream, there was a pinhole structure earlier. Okay, so I don't want to say that that he's wrong or anything. He's good. He's good at what he does. Okay, I do agree with him. but the pinhole structure is actually this. So what we had earlier is very deep convection. Look at right here, and then the cloud tops warmed briefly because essentially the convection with this system, again, you're a great guy, Pat, okay? You're good. All right. Learning moment, learning curve, like a curveball, right? So the convection, the upward motion in these thunderstorms are so intense. The updrafts are so violent that the clouds are actually warmer in this little spot than the surrounding environment. So that's why it looked like, oh, an eye is trying to form. No, an eye wall is beginning to form, but before an eye forms, the structure is going to really have to improve. Like, we're going to have to see this swirly-like pattern. We're beginning to see signs of that, but it's going to be a long... Excuse me. It's going to be a long process, okay, for that to form. And so, no, there is no pinhole eye. I don't see any sorts of that right now. I do not. Okay? But what I do see is the cloud tops are really cold, and we got a lot of lightning activity. A lot of lightning activity. Thank you. All right, so thank you so much. I am going to be right back, folks. Don't go anywhere. Do not go anywhere. I'm actually going to need to get some water. I'm going to need to get some water, folks. So I will be right back. Don't go anywhere. Okay? Don't go anywhere. In fact, let me see before I go if Ethan B. or someone could actually cover for me, because I do need to get water. I do need some water. Show this to your audience. Yeah, so that's what that is. Thank you, Pat, for that, by the way. Man, that is really intense convection. Oh, yeah, look at this new burst. Negative 130 degree cloud tops. Negative 103 degree cloud tops. Jeez Louise, this thing is oomphin'. It is oomphin' right now. Chase, are you available to join the live stream with me? Chase? For just a bit? Oh, no, you had to step away too. Okay, who keeps on saying waffles? Please stop saying waffles. I don't know what the whole waffle thing is all about. But here's a look at 3D. Here's a look at it. And geez Louise, that is really, really deep. I'm going to see if Ethan is available. Man, those deep convection towers. Woo! Yeah, they are tight. They are really cold. Thank you so much. If you guys like the 3D, you got to subscribe. You got to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon, and share this live stream with your family and friends on social media. All right? You could also follow me on Twitter as well. I did a little bit of a Twitter detailed post tonight if you all want to check that out too throughout the stream. 3D makes it extra creepy. Oh, I know. It does. It really does. But yeah, look at all the lightning really starting to blossom with this. Severe Weather Center. Hey, Severe Weather Center. David Schlotthauer, the low is to the south of the core of the convection. No, it's not. No, it's not, Severe Weather Center. It is not to the south. I don't know where you're seeing that. In fact, the recon mission or the National Hurricane Center, their text discussion actually says, let me read it. I want to see where it's at here. So, Helene continues to become better organized with increased convective banding features and an overall more symmetrical looking cloud pattern. The convection is very deep with cloud tops to negative 80 to negative 90 Celsius or colder. Okay. Doppler velocity data from NOAA Hurricane Hunter aircraft indicate no significant vertical tilt. No significant vertical tilt of the vortex in the low to mid troposphere. This suggests that the vertical wind shear is very low. Earlier flight level wind data from the aircraft indicate that the maximum winds are near 50 knots, although this may be conservative. All right. So this is not tilted. There is no way this is tilted. And I'm not seeing any signs of that because our cloud pattern is very symmetrical. Very symmetrical. David, waffles has to do with waffle cell house as a garage, right? Maybe. I guess. Is the track shifting east? No, it's not. It is shifting to the west. It has shifted a little bit to the west in this advisory. Okay, got some good news. Ethan B will be on shortly. So once he gets on, I will get a quick water break. Probably get some lemonade. Who likes lemonade with ice in it? I love lemonade. Lemonade actually tastes good. Thank you for the $5 donation. By the way, thank you, Lisa, for the $5 donation too. Boy, I appreciate all the donations tonight. You guys are awesome because tonight's stream is definitely looking more concerning. And oh my gosh, yes. That look at that cloud top right there on the mesoscale floater imagery. Man, that is very cold cloud tops. That is really cold from the College Dew page. Look at this. Wow. Very cold cloud tops. Really cold. Okay, Siri, you can just shut up. Thank you, Siri. So cloud tops now approaching negative 135 degrees Fahrenheit. That is obnoxious. That is obnoxious. You love lemonade with ice in it? Nice. I love pouring cold water. When I take a shower, wash my hair, I love putting cold water on it. Especially, it's been hot, which, by the way, it reached 103 degrees today. Summer should be over. It is over. It's not summer anymore. It's fall, and yet it's 100 degrees here. It's ridiculous. Yeah, it's incredible. Wow, these cloud tops. My goodness, they are... I mean, look at that. Look at how cold those are. The brighter the white colors indicate colder cloud tops. And so what we're witnessing right now is just that. That is significant right there. And that means the system is really trying. It's more than likely undergoing some extensive deepening right now. You must live in the desert. No, I don't. I don't live in the desert. I do not live in the desert. I actually live in the Central Valley. Yeah, you guys, when you guys think of tomatoes, you think of watermelon, you think of different vegetables and fruits, think us in the valley for that. In fact, tonight they just got done picking our wine grapes. Yeah. Finally, so I could actually open my windows again. They did that last month, or no, wait, they did that earlier this month. Oh, no, they did that at the end of August in our other plot over here, and then they just did this tonight. So, yeah, different variety of grapes mean different things. Different picking times, actually. I'm glad you like tomatoes and watermelon. Go get water, dude, while I'm waiting for coverage. I don't want to leave you guys and then come back. And, you know, I could handle it a little bit more. We can get to 500 likes, guys, with 1,200 people watching. Thank you, Angelina. I do appreciate that, sweetie. But yeah, man, this is really blowing up right now. Yeah, look at this. That is really tall right there. That cloud, that tower. You're very welcome, Kat. I do appreciate that. Thank you for the $5 donation, partner. Thank you. Someone... I got yards. Nice. So, yeah, we're going to watch this. Recon data. Recon. I should make a song named Recon. They're on their way, though. They're on their way. They're right there. Thank you for the $1 donation, Fish Mania. They are close. They're getting there. And I bet you they're going to find something way stronger than earlier. Yeah, this is where the center is right here. I'm definitely seeing something right there is where the center is based on the cloud pattern. Use, got to trust the expert over here, Thank you, Ione, for the $2 donation. I do appreciate the donations, folks. I really do. Oh, yeah, look at all the lightning on this. Oh, my. Thank you for the $10 donation. Thank you for another $5 donation. Geez, already an hour and 18 minutes. This stream has generated almost $90. So thank you guys for all of the donations tonight. Man, thank you. Thank you. And we are going to be live through the early overnight hours as we do get that recon mission. It's right here. It is right here. There it is. And I wanted to show you all to the recon mission, the upper level drop zone that was conducted earlier. Do they not actually have that? Oh, they do. There's a upper level drop zone that they did earlier. Whoa, why do I have two open? There we go. That's a little bit better. Thank you for the $10 donation. I do appreciate that. Wow. The recon mission. So actually, I wanted to actually explain this because I feel like I kind of rubbed through it a little fast in my video today. So you're probably asking, why does there's a aircraft out there that actually flies these missions? Well, the reason why they do this is to get the data. So this was imported into the 0Z model run. All right, and that's why we had that big uptrend in that run, in tonight's run. So what they're looking for, again, is dry air. Is there any dry air surrounding the system? Where is the ridge at? What's the wind shear? What's the wind looking like in the upper and low levels of the atmosphere? So they do these drop-ons, and they drop these throughout the storm and in a grid-like pattern. And if we click on different ones, I wish Tropical Tidbits would make this a little bit bigger. And I'm going to make it a little bit bigger in here. So what I'm really interested in is, what is it like up here to the north? Now, this was done earlier, so the clouds moving over into this area indicate the moisture has increased. So when we look at these soundings, we can get an idea. What is the atmosphere doing at different levels, right? So we have really dry air at 250 millibars, and we have a lot of moisture in the lower half of the atmosphere. So you can kind of look at the vertical sounding. You'll see this a lot on different streams for severe weather, where you have the green line, which, by the way, the green line is always your dew point line. So that's basically what the dew point is at that level, which is the temperature at which air is going to be 100% or fully saturated. Okay, and then the red line is the temperature line. So you can see here, fairly moist in this column, and then it gets really dry at about, say, 30,000 feet above the surface. And that's, where the drier air is typically going to be, right, at that level. But this is what forecasters are going to look at. They're going to look at these profiles and say, oh, all right, the air mass is pretty moist. And so I wish I could browse through these. I cannot browse through them. Darn it. So I really hate that. I cannot just browse through them. Now, if I click on drops on 17, we did that. Let's say drops on 16, number 16. We can see this one has more drier air in it. Anything below about 75% is anemic. Actually, more like, say, 65 maybe percent is anemic for a tropical system. And so we have a lot of dry air in this level at 500 millibars. And we also have a little bit of some vertical wind shear. It doesn't seem like a lot, but when you look at the deep layer here, winds do change here and then they falter back. So there is some wind shear in this level of the atmosphere on that sounding. And so this is important because this gets intergested or ingested into the 0Z model runs. And this is going to be ingested into the 0Z hurricane models tonight. And this is going to really be an eye-opener on what the models will do tonight. I think tonight is the night we have a good handle on this than what we had last night. I think all of the discontinuities are pretty much wrinkled out at this time, because we now know, based on this data, that okay, the air is dry, the wind shear's like this, and the system's going this way, which means that rapid intensification is very likely. So we can see all of this dry air up here means that the air is really dry. And kind of a little pro tip, anything above below 400 millibars, so roughly in this column and down, you need the atmosphere to be sufficiently moist for tropical cyclone formation. All right, sometimes if you really want a prime atmosphere for rapid intensification, you might even need the 300 millibar layer to be above 65% or so. So you can see this is not so favorable, right? Because there's a lot of dry air at those levels. Now, if we come down here, right down here where the plane was, let's take a look at drops on number 23. Actually, let's do 20. Let's see what does 24, 23. Yeah, let's do drops on 22. This is what we look for. Very moist, all the way up to 200 millibars. And actually, it is very moist, around 250 millibars all the way down. So in this case, this is a very, very moist atmosphere. This is exceptionally moist. And this is why the system is intensifying tonight, because we have a lot of moisture in the deep layers of the atmosphere. Vertical wind shear is also fairly light, so that's not a problem with the system. So that's kind of a little bit of a tidbit on upper level recon missions. I know they don't sound as helpful because they're not getting the low level winds that we all want to hear about, but just think that every mission serves its purpose, and a purpose is, well, we need the data. We need this is data, numerical data for the models. It's like, well, the recon is feeding food, is feeding these models, and the models need to ingest and eat that food and eat that data and then make an image like we see here on the GFS. All right. All right. So Ethan B is here, folks. Let's see if Ethan. Hey Ethan.
Hello, you got me?
Yes, I got you, loud and clear.
Okay, great. Oh, good evening.
Good evening. Boy, Ethan, I am telling you what. I am really concerned about this hurricane. I don't know if you have followed the tropics recently, but some of the hurricane models, I kid you not, okay, and then I need to get some water really quick. Some of the hurricane models like the Halves A and Halves B have made this hurricane as intense as a Category 5 in recent model runs.
Yeah, we're looking at a situation here which has potentially a fairly high ceiling regarding the potential intensity of it, so it is something we're going to have to really watch carefully.
Yeah, and if you look at my screen, Ethan, before I get some water here, this is the Halves A from the 12Z run on September the 23rd. So this was yesterday morning's model run, and this could still theoretically verify. This could still theoretically verify because of what we're seeing right now. And look at, Ethan, this goes from, all right, Wednesday morning, 48 hours. Well, this would be now 24 hours. Actually, no, less than 24 hours, of course. Showing a 954 millibar system. But watch this. Literally in 12 hours, the pressure goes from 954 to 918 millibars.
Wow. That is a pretty rapid drop.
Yes, it is. So,
And that would be, I mean, we've seen, oh, I'm sorry.
And one last thing, that run, if it came to fruition, it would have it down to as low as 899 millibars with 160 to 170 knot winds. And the Halves B, which is coming in right now in real time, had this down to as low as 888 millibars with up to 180, 160, 170 knot winds.
Yeah, that outcome seems a little less likely, obviously, but it is still interesting to consider because the fact that this has shown in various model runs such intense strengthening, I mean, we are still going to be dealing with a pretty serious storm either way.
Yeah. So the Halves A is now beginning to render. While it renders, Ethan is going to be here because I need to get some water really quick. I am thirsty. I don't know. I'm just thirsty tonight, I guess. Maybe my body needs more water, I guess. So, with that being said, yeah, with that being said, Ethan, if you could do some talking. Actually, I'm going to have the live infrared satellite imagery up and the live recon. I will be back in about 2 or 3 minutes, folks. It's not going to be long at all, but I need some water. I need some moisture in my system. If not, I will get dehydrated. And we all don't want that very much so. So here's a look at the 3D. I will be right back. Here is Hurricane Severe Weather Expert Ethan B. Let's give it a round of applause for Ethan B.
All right, thank you. Yeah,
I'll be
I
back.
appreciate that. Okay. Yeah, so David's gonna be right back. He's getting some water, and I'm Ethan B. If you're unfamiliar, I've been with David's channel for quite a long time, and we've tracked a lot of significant events. We've tracked the Mayfield, Kentucky tornado. We've tracked the Greenfield, Iowa tornado, some of the more intense tornadoes we had in recent years. So, you know, pretty significant events, and it's been over several years. So we are going to be tracking this hurricane, providing updates coming up not only tonight, but in the coming days as well, because this is a pretty serious storm we're dealing with. And I just want to say, how are all of you doing? I see we got a lot of viewers here, and that's really great to see. The goal of this is to get the word out to as many people as possible. And with all of you here, that really helps us to achieve that goal. That's why we like for you to hit the like and subscribe button, because that helps the algorithm spread the word even more. And let's see. I was not in that tornado that hit uh, in Iowa, Greensville. I was not in the tornado, but we were doing live tracking on the radar when it happened. Alex, thank you. I definitely appreciate it. Okay, Brian Owens, what should we expect in northeastern Florida? The northeastern part of the state, depending on the exact track of the system, you're going to be seeing some storm surge concerns. On the east coast of Florida, we have some storm surge predictions coming in that are showing relatively minor amounts, 1 to 3 feet in some areas, but that could change again depending on the track of the system. And if you get more of the core, then we could see some damaging wind concerns, perhaps hurricane force if the system doesn't strengthen or doesn't weaken fast enough, I should say. And this is going to be a pretty big system, so the weakening might slow down compared to what we might normally expect. As for alerts, you do have some tropical storm watches in effect, so at least tropical storm conditions are expected at this time. Some storm surge concerns, not as bad as what you're going to be seeing on the west coast, though. On the west coast things, we've got storm surge warnings that go all the way inland, almost to Gainesville, Ocala, and to Lake City as well. Or, no wait, that's a hurricane. I'm sorry, that's a hurricane watch. Whoops. I got the colors a bit wrong on the map.
Okay,
And
I
this
am
is a pretty
back.
big storm. Oh, okay, welcome back.
Yeah, Ethan, this is a big storm. Caught you at the right time, I guess. Get this, Ethan. We have negative 100-degree cloud tops almost with this.
Yeah, it is very deep convection, and it's sign of a strengthening system. Also want to answer a question here because I didn't get to all the questions. Uh, let's see, how
Oof.
will this affect Georgia? We got a question here. Georgia, especially the southern part of the state, you're going to be dealing with a flooding concern because you're going to get the path of the system uh, have more of the rainfall come into the area, some moderate risk of flash flooding and excessive rainfall, especially Thursday through parts of Friday. On the wind side of things, you are still going to have some concerns, especially in the southern counties, for hurricane force wind potential, perhaps tropical storm force winds for sure, across much of the southern third of the state. Primarily, that's going to be taking place Thursday evening and Thursday night, and then by the time we get to Friday morning, the center of the system should start to be weakening pretty substantially, and it should be over parts of northern Georgia.
Yeah. Okay, I've got some bad news tonight, Ethan, about our models, hurricane models.
Yes.
The latest update coming in, big downtrend on these, or uptrend on the intensity, on the winds, all right, and the pressure. 2 model runs ago, 9, okay, this is the morning run. It's probably over, oh yeah, it was over land at this time, but it was showing pressures of only about 992 millibars, okay, on the halves A. On the halves A tonight, pressures are expected to be as low as 969 millibars by tomorrow morning. So that's a 20 millibar decrease in pressure in the last couple of runs in the forecast for Wednesday morning. This is 12 hours away.
Right. It's going to be critical regarding the intensity of the system to see where we're at tomorrow morning, because if it strengthens faster than expected, then we might be headed toward a more intense landfalling system.
Now, is there a way that this does not rapidly intensify, Ethan? Is there any shear problems in the Eastern Gulf or the Northeastern Gulf? Like, some of the models have indicated that there may be some southwesterly flow or even southerly flow over the system, but you pretty much know about these jet streams, the background flow. So what are your thoughts about this? Could this run into shear problems at all up until landfall?
I suppose it is possible. I don't see it being a particularly big factor at this point. I haven't seen specifics on the upper level pattern as it heads northward, but I do know what we've seen in visible satellite imagery today is that it has shown very healthy upper level outflow channels, and that indicates an environment that is really not being affected by significant wind shear, not having a bunch of dry air intrusion. It's a healthy environment for it to strengthen further. But as it goes further to the north, I can't say specifically what the magnitude of the deep layer shear will be, uh, but up to landfall, it looks pretty favorable for intensification.
Jeez. Jeez. The HMON has trended further west in this run. It is further west in this run. Again, let's see what our H-Wharf is doing. So our H-Wharf has not rendered yet. So our halves models are coming in right now as we speak. Let's see our halves B. Oh my gosh, Ethan.
Yes.
Wow, this really deepens quick. Wow. All right. 12 in, so by tomorrow morning on Wednesday, 969 millibars, right? That's what the pressure is. And look at this. 12 hours later, it's down to 950 millibars. And then 12 hours or 9 hours later, it's down to 930 millibars.
Wow. Yeah, that would be pretty rapid there. And if that were to happen, then we'd be looking at a pretty rapid uptick in the category.
This really has uptrended in the last 2 runs, by the way. Again, just like the GFS model. Okay? And Ethan, you need to look at the stream in real time here so you can actually see this too. All right? So,
I am.
the 12Z run from this morning, 978, 980 millibars, Ethan. This is not good. All right, to begin with. This would still be a strong tropical storm. Next run, the 18Z run, 954 millibars. Next run after that, about 930 millibars. Big uptrend.
Right. And these models will probably try to kind of zone in on a specific outcome as we get closer to the arrival of the system. That's the way that meteorology in general goes, and that's the way any predictability goes in this sense, because the further out you go, the more factors there are to consider, the more unpredictable a scenario becomes. But as we get closer, and that's why I said tomorrow morning and tomorrow afternoon are going to be critical, at that point, we're going to see things get a little more consistent, and we'll be able to identify the track with a little more certainty.
Yeah. Man, that halves beach, boy. That halves B. That is. I'm not liking this. I'm not liking this. Not as strong as it was last night in the 0Z output, but it's also further. It's a little faster tonight, actually. Interesting. A little faster. Just a hair faster. But it's gonna. We're gonna have to see what our other models do. I don't like how it's really brought on the HMON. I think the HMON is not simulating this really well.
I do want to make note to people as well. An interesting thing to consider here is that we might talk about pressures in various different runs and in various ways, but the Saffir-Simpson scale, again, when you see that come over on the news headlines, that's going to be based on the wind speeds. So keep that in mind as things come into this. And what we're doing here, looking at all these models, it's not, to say any one particular model is going to be right. That's not David's intention at all. That's not our intention at all. It's to look at the various possibilities and consider them as a whole, because that's really the basis of forecasting with numerical models.
Yep. Every model has its different way. And Ethan, and that's a good question. Why does each hurricane model have its different solution? I mean, they're using the same data virtually from. I mean, it's different. It really is.
Yeah, and this kind of goes to numerical meteorology models in as a whole, because there are different kinds of meteorology forecasting models that are used for various different things and on various different scales. For example, there's hydrostatic models, non-hydrostatic models, uh, thermotropic models, things like that. There's all different kinds, and what these do is they take the data, which is the same, and they handle it differently. So you might have one model taken and showing a slightly stronger system. You might have another model show it slightly weaker. You might have one take a different track and the other take a slightly different track compared to that, because they're taking all that initial data and calculating it a little bit differently. And through doing that, we get a more diverse set of solutions, which might give us a more a more accurate idea of where this is going to go when considered as a whole. Because meteorology, again, is based on probability, and that's what the cone of uncertainty is intended to do. It's intended to show where the highest probability is of the center of the hurricane passing over.
Yep. Good job on that, Ethan. Good job. Round of applause does go to Ethan to that. And also, if you guys like that discussion, please hit the like button and share this live stream with their family and friends, and also subscribe to the channel to get latest updates on the channel as well. Live streaming, hurricane updates, and much more. And also, by the way, Ethan, look at my Doppler radar on my screen. We definitely have an eye or a eye wall forming. Most certainly we have an eye wall trying to form here. You can see it right in here on the northern side, really shaping up.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to see that come into shape even more firmly tomorrow, most likely. But the fact that it's showing up already, that's an indicator that we're starting to see the convection focused around that central area of circulation.
Yeah. And recon, Ethan, is here. You're going to be able to see the recon data as it comes in too. They are very close to the center, Ethan, by the way. So This is going to be important. This is going to be really important. And in fact, they're going to be there in about 30 minutes. In about 30 minutes they'll be there. I just also wanted to let you know, Ethan, that a buoy to the southeast of the system, this is well removed from the center of circulation, has pressure down in 2939, so the pressure has dropped a little bit despite the system moving away, and the winds are about 30 miles an hour, gusting up to 50 miles an hour.
Oh, okay. So those are pretty rough conditions already.
Yeah. And the pressure's falling, Ethan, on that buoy despite the system moving away.
Yeah. This is a 60-mile-per-hour system already, and it's expected to rapidly intensify as it heads into the Gulf of Mexico. That's what we've been saying. So you would probably see some anomalies like the pressure still falling even as the system is further away from that buoy. Because as a whole, the pressure around this thing is really starting to come down.
True. Yeah. Man, Ethan, that CDO future, dude, that CDO future, that is very symmetric, and it is starting to swirl. That swirl appearance.
Absolutely.
I also want to let you know, Ethan, this system has a very high ceiling for many reasons too. Of course, the lighter shear, very moist atmospheric conditions through the eastern Gulf, but this is going to be moving over some of the highest upper ocean heat content, Ethan, approaching 200 units. 200 units over the loop current of the Gulf.
Oh my. Wow. That's pretty huge.
Yeah, so we can see it all. Yeah, so here it is. The whole system. There's your recon data right now. There's your plane. It is getting closer and closer and closer. And wow, that CDO. That is looking more like that 75 mile an hour hurricane, maybe a 70 mile an hour tropical storm. Jeez. And look at all. Look
it
at.
will probably. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, we're probably gonna see this strengthening quickly. I do have a question here from a viewer when you have time.
All right. Yeah. You could answer that question.
Okay. Well, we had Thomas Randall here saying, "I'm from Taylor County. Do you think Perry will take a direct hit, or do you see it shifting west?"
Oh my gosh, I misheard that. Oh my gosh, I was looking at chat. So, do you see it shifting west? There is a very slim possibility. What are your thoughts on this, Ethan? Do you think it's we're seeing the track now? It's pretty much well set in stone at the moment.
I think it's narrowed down to where it's a little more certain. But even at this range, we're still 2 days out. It could shift a little bit. So I think it's more certain than what it was yesterday, but, there's still room for things to change.
Okay. That makes sense. There's definitely. Let's see the halves B now. We're getting new data in, live data. Okay, the halves B has definitely uptrended on the pressure, down by 11 millibars. Halves B. Oh my gosh, Ethan. This is a Category 5 hurricane. Category 5 hurricane on the latest model, Ethan. Hitting the Big Bend of Florida, down in 919 millibars. 918, 919 millibars. Holy cow.
Yeah, definitely showing some aggressive solutions regarding the pressure here.
Man, this is... Which, by the way, Ethan, that's a 151 knot wind field. 151 knot wind field. And actually, let me ask Siri this. Hey, Siri, what is 151 knots in miles per hour? That is about almost 175 miles an hour, Ethan.
Yeah, those would be some pretty serious winds. A very dangerous storm. I mean, it's going to be a dangerous storm, obviously, anyway, but as we've said, the ceiling is pretty high on this. And regards to Taylor County as well, that area is in a pretty bad spot with this. I'm just gonna, be honest with it and say that this is looking pretty close to the path of this system at this point. And the sheriff's office in Taylor County does have mandatory evacuation orders for everyone in the county, is what they're saying here, due to the expected intensity of this thing. So, for Taylor County residents, that is something to consider. There is a mandatory evacuation alert in effect.
Mandatory evacuation. Wow. That means you got to get out. And again, please, 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 please follow all evacuation orders by your local officials and local authorities. And I even told myself this, Ethan, and I'm going to tell you this. There should be a law. If you don't evacuate, you could get some serious fines and punishment. I mean, you got to... Yeah. I mean...
Yeah, but with the evacuation orders are obviously intended to keep people safe because this thing making landfall is very likely going to have tornado-like winds, so you're going to be seeing a lot of damage. And the goal of the evacuations is to keep the people safe. Your property might sustain damage, but what matters is that you and your family, your neighbors, that they're safe. So that's the goal there. But we did have a question. Leon County, Jackie asked. Yes?
Say that question really quick. Sorry about that. So, my estimation pressure at landfall, Ethan, is 918 millibars. 916, 918 millibars at landfall. And on this model, this could be a hurricane even into southern Georgia at landfall or after landfall throughout Friday or Thursday night into Friday morning.
Yeah, it's probably going to last into parts of Georgia with some strong winds, so that's why we do have those tropical storm watches up, and I believe some hurricane watches even in the far southern parts.
Yeah, all right, back to that question.
Leon County. Yeah, Leon County, Florida, I don't see anything at this point on the evacuations alert map.
All right, the HMON is pretty unrealistic at the moment. This is a very large hurricane wind field. So, see what the H-Wharf shows, though. Wow, the H-Wharf really has uptrended on the pressure and winds. Went from 979, Ethan, to 969 millibars. So all uptrends in the model guidance tonight. Yep.
That's concerning. And again, we're not taking one particular model for, the truth. We're not saying this is exactly how it's going to happen. But when David says that, it's in reference to a lot of the models here showing an uptrend, which is a concerning factor. It means that there's potential for this to intensify even further than what the forecast is officially showing. That is a factor we have to keep in mind.
Man, I just pray that these people can evacuate. Please, people. You guys like me because I get the warning out to a lot of people, but you also have to take my advice here and Ethan B's advice. Advice from Ethan B.
Right. We want you to stay as safe as possible. If there are some of you who do want to stay behind, if you don't have, any other means of doing it, or if you do just choose to stay behind, then you need to be taking shelter for this very seriously. If you're in any coastal areas, I would really not be there in any kind of structure because we're looking at extremely strong winds coming in, but also really storm surge values. 10 to 15 feet based on the latest NHC prediction, and that's not good. That's some pretty high storm surge. Any preparations ahead of this need to be rushed to completion and need to be done by preferably tomorrow afternoon. Don't wait until tomorrow evening if you're going to relocate or anything. Do things ahead of time. Hopefully you can beat traffic. There's probably going to be a lot of traffic in the area, but make sure you get things done ahead of time because conditions are really going to go downhill as we head through Thursday. Even earlier in the day, these outer bands are going to start coming in and conditions are going to deteriorate.
Yeah. Um, and that, with that being said, Ethan, we're going live on this. And I'm hoping you're going to be available. Oh, you'll be available on Thursday anyways. Hopefully, most likely, because this is going to make landfall by Thursday evening. I'm going to be providing live cameras, live analysis, updates, and everything. Because this thing has the potential of becoming a Cat 4 based on the models that we have right now. Based on the models and the Halves A, Ethan, which, by the way, the Halves A, Ethan, has us down in 929 millibars and 132 knots.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why for all of you watching, please stay tuned to David's channel here because he is going to be providing that extensive coverage on the day of this landfall, and I do certainly intend to be here, to the best of my ability. So we're going to be providing a lot of information on that, live update, minute by minute, basically, as this is coming in. The latest reports, cameras, all kinds of information that you need to know. So that's something that I really hope that a lot of you stay tuned for. Make sure that you're subscribed so that you get that notification when things
Subscribe.
do go live. Do brief. I'm sorry?
Oh no, I was just iterating on what you said. So again, folks, please subscribe if you haven't already, and also ring the bell notification icon. You guys have been doing good at that. In fact, my notification viewer numbers have gone up because of that. So if you guys haven't hit the bell icon, please do so and share and like as well and subscribe. All right, go ahead, Ethan.
Yeah, I did want to get to a question here from Marek Gorzinski here. I did answer this earlier, but I want to reiterate it if you didn't see the message. There is marginal to slight tornado risk at this point in the central Florida panhandle. Going up into southern Georgia on Thursday, this is primarily going to be associated with embedded supercells on the outer bands of this system. Once you get more toward the core of it, it's less of a potential. You could still get some tornadoes, but this is mainly going to be focused on the banding features. So that does put much of the Florida Peninsula at risk for some tornadoes. You will probably see a long duration tornado watch in effect through probably a lot of Thursday. And in southern Florida, this could even start to take effect even late Wednesday night.
Gosh, Ethan, many hurricanes orbiting around a hurricane.
Yeah.
Hello?
This extent. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Yeah, and I want to say as well that as this moves northward too, keep in mind for folks that are in southern Georgia, even toward South Carolina, coastal Carolina areas, some of these banding features could contain isolated tornadoes. So if you're in those locations, then take that as a consideration as well. The hurricane-related impacts are going to start to lessen as it moves inland, but these things can still produce several tornadoes even after they've made landfall.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. And actually, Ethan, based on some of the models, there could be a lot of banding futures, and so there could be a minor potential for a strong tornado or two and a strong water spout.
Yeah, that's something to watch out for, and these are going to mainly be with mini supercells that are a bit harder to predict, ahead of time than what we see with these big Great Plains supercells, the ones we think of more often. So if you're in the tornado watch, then it is advised that you please, at any moment be ready to take shelter. As soon as that warning goes out, or as soon as the weather starts to get rough. An important thing to keep in mind that I always like to add on to this with hurricanes, though, is that if you're in the path of the hurricane, especially where the storm surge is coming in, and you get a tornado warning, seek shelter as you would for any tornado on the lowest floor of a sturdy home or building, except if that area is flooding. For instance, if the basement is rapidly filling with water, then you don't want to end up trapped down there. So please make that a consideration.
Mm-hmm. All right. When is the next NOAA data update? So, you mean the next NHC update? It's going to be at 11 o'clock tonight, and we have a recon mission en route to that area. In fact, they are really close to that center, and they're going to fly through the northeastern side and then out the southwestern side. And boy, Ethan, that is a very symmetrical cloud pattern. Really, really violent, intense thunderstorm convection with that. In fact, Ethan, some of the cloud tops are still negative 30 to 130 degrees Fahrenheit. Really cold. Hello? Hello? I guess his internet. Something happened. He's been having internet issues tonight, so he will be back on as soon as possible. So we do get an update. So the system will make landfall or potentially make landfall in this area is where we're thinking where it's going to. And this would be a Category 5. 137.5 knots, 140 knots. That's a Category 5 hurricane on these two models. Okay, so if we look at the halves B, so two of these neck and neck, actually in the same time frame. The halves A is slower, the halves B is faster, but two of them are both showing a major hurricane. Especially, man, that halves B forecast, that's a Category 5, 151 knot winds right before landfall. Welcome back, Chase. How are you doing? Welcome back. So, both of these models are showing us right now that this would be a formidable Category 4 hurricane with 130 to 155 miles an hour. Maybe still a possible Cat 5 out of this. Really hard to say for the time being. Because, of course, still in the formative stages. But yikes. Yikes. That is 190 knot winds right there where that inner core is. That's a very powerful hurricane. Very, very, possibly a violent hurricane. This is also would be a major hurricane, possibly a Cat 4 on the HMON model with pressures down to 946. And you can see right there, really, really large wind field on this forecast. Really large. Now, looking at the HWRF model, that is currently coming in right now a lot stronger. A lot stronger at the moment with how strong these winds are. This would be a Category 3 as early as tomorrow afternoon. As early as tomorrow afternoon, this develops Category 3 force winds. Okay? So we will get you the latest information once it comes in. We will bring you that. Hello?
Okay, you got me?
Yes, I got you. All right, I got bad news, Ethan. HWRF has trended significantly stronger. Both the halves A and B runs have this making landfall at Category 5 intensity in the Florida Big Bend area by Thursday night and a Friday early morning.
Wow. That's a concerning thing to see.
And I'm telling you, Ethan, if this does become a Cat 5 estimated storm surge, and I don't like hyping things up, folks, but based on, again, stronger the storm, the higher the storm surge. And peak storm surge in isolated areas, Ethan, for right now, what I'm predicting is potentially 15 to 18 feet right now. But if the system, as we get more confidence that, oh, this may be a high-end Cat 4, we could see peak storm surge perhaps approaching over 20 feet.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate thing about this is that as it does get more intense, we could see those storm surge predictions actually go up a little bit more, and they're already, pretty serious in the Florida, the Big Bend area, so we're gonna watch those like a hawk as we go into tomorrow.
And also, after this system gets over with, we're really going to have to watch, like a hawk, what comes off of Africa. Some models, Ethan, and I'm going to show you. Oh my gosh. Holy Toledo. You do not want to look at the 0Z run. You do not want to look at the 0Z run. Get this, Ethan. Get this. And I'm not lying, and I don't like hyping stuff up. It wants a 920 millibar, 915 millibar system in the southeastern Bahamas in about 300 hours, and it's been showing this solution for a while, possibly a major hurricane by early October.
Huh.
If
Well,
you
that's interesting.
Here's the model, everybody. I know we should be talking about our system, but what comes off of Africa, I'm not worried about the system out there right now that has that very high chance of, oops, I don't want that, okay. This is not what I'm worried about. That's going to go out to sea storm. That's the most likely scenario. But what comes down here? What comes down here is going to be the concern. Watch this. Watch this, Ethan, too, on your screen. This right here, all of this vorticity bundled up south of this ridge, south of this deep layer ridge. Really, this could be a big problem. And look at how it bundles up really quickly on the GFS. I know this is really far out, and I want to be aware of that, okay, it is far out, Fantasyland, but it's been on this scenario for a while. There has been something down here in the deep tropics, all right? It's been showing something like that for a while now. And Ethan, that's been on the GFS for at least the last 4 or 5 days. Hello? 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 All right, so I guess he's not around yet. So we really got to watch this. I know it's very far out, and I know you guys are going to name call me and say, David, stop this. Stop the fear-mongering. Stop the fantasy land. Stop showing us this. This really, we got to watch this. It's been showing up on model runs. I know we could only do one storm at a time, but just so you're aware, after we get done with Helene, we're probably going to have to start talking about this system right here off the GFS. The Canadian model has also, look at the Canadian model, tonight's run, look at going bullish as well. Very similar to the GFS model. Very similar. Okay. 49, 50 knot winds found by recon. Okay, we'll look at that in just a second. But I'm just telling you all right now, there is some consistency to this. And even the even the naval model is showing something eventually developing later on too. So, not saying it's going to, but yeah, that's a 920 millibar system right there, hitting the Windward Islands potentially. So yeah, just for your information, just something to add into this live stream that, oh, we got to really watch this. All right, so they have found 50 knot winds, flight level winds of 50 knots right now. There's no SFMR winds on this for some reason. I don't know why there isn't. But they have found 50 knot winds so far. And our pressure... Hey, Ethan, I could hear you.
Okay, yeah, I'm back. I do apologize for that. Again, I told this to David, and I mentioned it in chat here, but I have had some internet outages recently. They've been periodic, so unfortunately, I've had to deal with that.
Yeah. But Ethan, I wanted to tell you really quickly to just follow up this system that's developing out there in the Central Maine Development Region has been in the models for at least the last 3 or 4 days already. It's been really consistent, and now even the Canadian model has picked up on it.
Interesting, yeah. I mean, this system, or this season, I should say, is not done.
No, it's not. It is not done, unfortunately. And there's that favorable environment of the MJO moving through. So this is just kind of the start of it. I think we will see 1 or 2 more major hurricanes before October is done. One now, one coming off of Africa, like I said, in early October, and then maybe one in the middle or the end of October. Perhaps. Again, it's a forecast and not a actual reality thing. But I wanted to show you this, Ethan, and this is going to shock you to your holy grail. All right? I'm going to send you something on that system, and this is from the Euro. You know how conservative the Euro is. Okay?
Yes.
All right? Let me send you this in Discord.
Okay, I'll see it when I get a chance. I'm answering a question here in the chat.
Yeah. Oh, we're down in 929 millibars at landfall with the H-Wharf and winds Category 4 intensity. So all the models tonight have uptrended to Category 4 and 5 intensity. Category 4 and 5 intensity. Again, here is kind of the matchup. I'm not even going to look at the HMON. The HMON is literally on some drugs or something. It's just not... It's showing a major hurricane, but not like these other models. Here's the H-Wharf. Here's the Halves A model. And here is the Halves B model. Of course, the Halves A is slower. The H-Wharf is about with the Halves B. So in the same area, but only the Halves B is a little stronger at landfall than the H-Wharf model. Still showing us a major hurricane. Major hurricane. For sure a major hurricane at this point. All right, recon data's coming in. More recon data. Why? What are they? Oh, maybe they're approaching the center right here. Maybe the center is right here, and they're going to be flying into this way. Let's see. Let's go to Flight Radar 24. All right, we don't have it on that. So we are going to wait for new recon data to get in there.
Yeah. I've seen several questions about Jacksonville, so I wanted to address those here. Um, so for Jacksonville, we do have some storm surge concern on the coastal area. It's not as much as you have to the west. It's about 1 to 3 feet based on the latest from the National Hurricane Center. But for that area too, we're going to be dealing with some tropical storm conditions most likely. A tropical storm watch is going to be in effect mainly Thursday night, Friday. Things are still going to be windy early on and then maybe settle out as we head through the day. So Friday things improve, but Thursday things are going to probably
Oh, and his internet. Your internet's out, Ethan. I can't hear you. All right, surface frequency microwave radiometer winds are in, and they are at 50 knots so far. Again, that's not the center, okay? That's not the center yet. Yup, there it is. They finally got it working. It's about time they get it working. So surface frequency microwave radiometer winds are in, and that's what it's picking up on.
start to go down.
Hello?
Did you hear me?
And now I could hear you. You cut out there for a little while. I could hear you.
Did you hear any of what I said about Jacksonville?
No.
Oh man, I am sorry. The internet here is really bad right now. Again, for Jacksonville, Florida, because we've had some questions about that, you do have a tropical storm watch in effect, so conditions are going to deteriorate, especially as you head through the day, and especially toward the night Thursday. Still going to be rough early Friday, and then things are going to start to wind down through that day probably. Your main concerns are going to be heavy rainfall, which is going to lead to an increased risk of flash flooding. Coastal areas, storm surge might be 1 to 3 feet perhaps. Isolated tornadoes are going to be possible too, Thursday and into Friday probably. And tropical storm force winds are probably going to be primarily centered on the later parts of Thursday into Thursday night.
All right. By the way, surface frequent SFMR winds, Ethan, surface frequency microwave radiometer winds, around 50 knots at the surface, and they're not even in the center yet. 50 knot winds.
Yeah, it's already a strong system. Sustained winds at 60 miles per hour in the latest update. We'll see what that does in the next update.
I really hope they're just not going to do a freaking survey mission like they did last night, where they went boop, 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 boop. That sucked. I did not like that. Hopefully they do something like this. They'll do something like this, and then, oops, I can't even draw tonight. They'll turn like this, fly like this, like that, out, and out, and out, and out, and then boop, off they go. I did pretty good. Wow. I actually drew that recon mission pretty stinking well. Oh, by the way, Ethan, you here?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Did you look at the post?
Sure.
Did you see what I sent you from the Euro from the 12Z run this morning?
The image?
Yeah.
They sent on Discord?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did see that.
You know what all those pink colors mean? That's individual members predicting pressure lower than 950 millibars. All those tracks.
Wow. That is pretty significant. That's interesting to consider too, because again, the season's certainly not over, and so residents along the Gulf Coast really need to keep an eye on this through the rest of the season, through October and maybe into parts of November as well.
And if we do look at the ensemble forecast really quickly, I know you guys are probably like, can you stop showing us the Atlantic? Please, for the love of God. We want to see what's going on right now with our system. But this really is an eye-opener right here. Look at all of these tracks, all these different members picking up a significant hurricane. Ethan, look at this on my screen. Look at that.
Yeah,
This,
that is concerning.
you can see why. Yeah, see, someone told me to stop showing the Atlantic, but that interests me. That really, that right there, that guidance. So I'm telling you, after we get done with Helene, not that Helene's not important, but wow, we gotta jump onto the Central Atlantic immediately. It, those are different members, Kristen.
Right.
Those are different members showing us different possible outcomes. And there's a big signal. That's showing us signals over,
Yeah, I did want to answer some questions here because we've got a lot of questions and, we got a lot of information to consider and my internet's sporadic, so we do greatly apologize if we don't get to every question here, but we are going to try and do our best. In regards to impacts in Panama City area, you're going to be on less of the side of this. Tropical storm warning is in effect. Storm surge is going to be a lot lower based on the latest expectation. Between Indian Pass and Mexico Beach, so just, down the shore from there, 1 to 3 feet expected because you're going to be less on the onshore side of the flow with this hurricane. So Panama City should be in a lot better position for the storm surge side of things, a lot less of that concern, but you are going to have heavy rainfall. Some of these rainfall totals could end up being over 8 inches in some areas, and that leads to a moderate chance of excessive rainfall and flash flooding. So you're really going to have some tropical storm force wind concerns and flash flooding concerns. The storm surge is not a big factor in Panama City, and the tornadoes are probably not going to be that big of a factor there either.
wow. Um, was that? No, they're not near the center yet. No. They are not near the center yet. Center's probably over here somewhere. So they're not there yet. And we're just waiting patiently what they're going to find.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
That's waiting. That's a big thing in meteorology.
Yeah, we should get an update here in about a minute or so. This updates every about 10 minutes, the recon data. What a monster storm. I know, right? My thumbnail really describes it. What a monster storm. Okay, we just got new recon data, Ethan. They have found 50 knot flight level winds right now. They have found flight level winds that support that. Pressure down to 997 millibars. And they are not in the center yet.
Oh, I would expect them to find that we're seeing that falling pressure. In regards to here, another question about from Jess23. Lots of people concerned about Eastern Jogs and Tampa. Tampa is in a pretty bad spot in the system. On the storm surge side of things, you're going to be seeing some fairly significant values here coming into the Tampa area, Tampa Bay as well, 5 to 8 feet. So not quite as bad as what you're seeing further up the coast, but still some pretty significant impacts in Tampa Bay. 5 to 8 feet of storm surge, heavy rain as well. The conditions are going to get worse the further north you head in the Florida Peninsula, and especially as you head toward the Big Bend area. Isolated tornadoes as well. Probably some hurricane force wind concern, depending on how close that comes to Tampa as well. But that's part of the area where we kind of cut off between tropical storm warning and hurricane warning.
50 knots at 15,000 feet. I know, flight level winds. I said flight level winds. I never said surface winds. Okay, flight level winds. And why are they flying at 15,000? Usually they fly at 10,000. Interesting. What's up, Skylar? Adams, how are you doing? By the way, if you guys are liking the stream, please hit the like button. We are 298 likes away from 1,000. And also, if you're new, subscribe to the channel as well, because we're doing a in-depth analysis on Tropical Storm Helene. And we will get you a new update here on the recon in about, let's see, in about 5 or 6 minutes. 5 or 6 minutes of live recon data.
Yeah, we did have a question here as well from Virginia. Has the system jogged east or west any?
So from Virginia, right?
That was the name of the account.
Oh, Virginia. Okay, I thought like Virginia Beach. So the system has pretty much jogged. It's about in the same spot on the H wharf. So if we look at our latest trends on the model, we can see that it is. So it has trended further west a little bit, yes. In an overall standpoint, just a little to the west. Let's see on the HMON model. So the HMON also has trended a little bit to the west. Let's see the HAVS A model. The HAVS A model has not trended much west at all. Let's see about the HAVS B model. The HAVS B model has not trended much to the west either. So maybe a trend to the west by like 1 or 2 miles. And 1 or 2 miles makes a whole amount of difference between you getting the eye wall and not. Oh, shoot, Ethan. Guess what?
What?
We have a problem.
Okay.
The Euro made a big stride in tonight's update on its model. Euro wants us down to 959 millibars at landfall. 959 millibars. And it wants us to become potentially a major hurricane. Big update, or big uptrend in the Euro finally.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it's kind of hopping on with that solution.
Yup, it sure is. And look at the trend on the Euro as well. Look at this. Each progressive model run has gotten deeper and deeper. Look at this. It has gotten notably deeper in the last 5 model runs. So now we're down in the major hurricane intensity, also on the European model, with wind gusts that are anywhere between 115 to 130 miles an hour. So all models tonight show this becoming a major hurricane in the Gulf. Every single model tonight we can think of. Except the APHIS, which is not a high-resolution model. So the Euro has it going east. Yeah, it still likes that solution. Well, actually, it's on top of the other models, though. Actually, you know what? Let's do this. So I'm going to draw up different colors. So the GFS is the black dot on tonight's run. Let's look at the European model at the same time. The Euro is a little bit, and I'm going to use blue for the Euro, a little bit to the south, so a tiny bit slower. Looking at the icon model, a little bit over to the east. You can see that there. And the Canadian model, wow. Actually the Canadian is an outlier here, so I cannot say they're all uptrended on a major hurricane. But showing something there. And the green, let's look at the... See what other model we have. We don't have any, actually. We used all of them, I think. APHIS, we'll just do the APHIS. So the APHIS, pretty much very close. So we do have a consistent signal right in here. Let's look at our hurricane models. If I'm able to bring up Synoptic. Nope. So that's not going to work. So there is a congealment of all the models right in here. This Big Bend area seems to be the one that gets hit really bad. So that's pretty much a fairly solidified forecast at the moment. And let's see what our spaghetti plots actually show. But before we... Yeah, let's look at the spaghetti. Who loves spaghetti? Spaghetti. Spaghetti. So, looking at the spaghetti plots right here. Let's zoom in so you all can see this. This is pretty much... This could go a little bit further to the east still, so we're not done seeing shifts like this. But in majority of them, very tightly clustered model consensus. All right, the cone of uncertainty is still in this area, though, by the way. I want to make that clear. So we're not done seeing shifts back to the east, this windshield wiper effect, we call it. Or we're not even done seeing shifts back to the west again either. But there is a tight consensus here in about 2 days that this is where it's going to make landfall. Right here over Crawfordville in Florida, right around the Big Bend. All right. Man, look at what the models do. They do some crazy things. They loop it out. Look at all of these models loop it back out. And some models want it going over here as well. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. But this is where we know where it's, this could still shift to the east a little bit. Just a little bit. But we are going to wait for our NHC update. And we're going to actually, we'll be patient. I bet you it's going to be up to about 70 miles an hour unless they find hurricane force winds. We're going to see, though. They're almost there in the center. We're waiting for a new update. And we should be getting that right now. We should be getting that in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now. What's up, Jason? You there, Ethan? Hello? Oh my goodness. They found winds of about... They found flight level winds of about 57 knots. 57 knots right now. 57 knot flight level winds. So this is definitely strengthening. They are not in the center yet. The center is probably like right over here somewhere. Is where I think. I could hear you, Ethan.
Okay.
Let me see what they found with surface flight level or surface frequency microwave radiometer winds. Let me see. $54 knots they have found. 54 knot. Actually, about 53, 52. Flight level winds. Or no, surface frequency microwave radiometer winds. And they have found flight level winds of high-end tropical storm intensity. All right, 51 knots. That's What is it? Hello?
Intensifying.
Oh, it's intensifying. Oh, yeah, Ethan.
Hello?
Hello?
I'm here.
Wow, you are delayed.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah. GR 3500. Hey there, how are you doing? Welcome to the channel. By the way, if you guys are enjoying the content, we are going to wait. We're going to probably stay on air here until at least 11:30 tonight, probably even until midnight, because we want more passes. Let's see if this thing is actually intensifying a little bit. Yeah, we have almost 1,400 people watching. Let's hit the like button, folks. Come on, let's hit that like button. Let's get this up to 1,000 likes. And also, please subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. You know what I'm thinking? To really get you guys excited is I might decide to do a live stream tomorrow and just skip the video update tomorrow. What do you guys think? Maybe I'll just go live tomorrow. That's probably what I'll do. I told my teacher I won't be going to school tomorrow because I have open house tomorrow night, so I will probably end up doing a live stream for about 4 hours tomorrow. Probably go live probably at 8 in the morning and stay live until noon, and then just go live tomorrow night again. So 2 live streams instead of 2 videos and a live stream. Yeah, okay, everybody's just blowing me up with the live stream tomorrow, so that's what we will do. We will go live at 8 in the morning then. Yup, I am. So everyone, actually, you know what? Let me do a poll. I'm always interested in what you guys want me to do. So let's see. Do you want me to live stream 2 times tomorrow? 8 to 12 Pacific Daylight Time and 8 to 12 Pacific Daylight Time. So let's do this. 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. and then 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. the next day. So that way you guys can vote. I'm always curious. Let's see if the demand really goes up. Vote, vote, vote. Let's go, let's go. Let's vote, vote, vote. Geez, we're already up to 100 votes. Yay, yay. And 98% of the people want me to go live. So I'm going to do 2 lives tomorrow. First one, 8 in the morning to 12 p.m. And then a second one, 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. No, I'm not going to go to bed. We're going to wait for more recon data to get in there.
Yeah. It's going to be a lot of coverage and a lot of information.
And then you already know I'm going live most of the day on Thursday. Probably going to start live streaming. Let's see here. I'm planning to go live pretty early. So it makes landfall right around 0102 Zulu on Friday, which would be about 7 p.m. my time, which would be about 10 p.m. on Thursday for Florida. So I would probably go live probably at about noon. At noon at least. Or even 11 in the morning. 12 hours prior to landfall, we do our coverage. So that's probably what we'll end up doing, because that will take us all the way out to here, and then in doing that. So I'll probably start live streaming at about 19 or 20 Zulu on Thursday and discontinue it until landfall Thursday night once it gets into Florida. And probably gonna live stream, since it's 03Z on Thursday when it makes landfall. I'll probably even live stream until this point, even after it makes landfall, and do a very thorough coverage of the system. That's the plan of day on Thursday. Gonna be long and it's gonna be busy. But you guys' job, keep me entertained. Keep me, well, I should be entertained, but keep me awake, because it's gonna be 12 hours in the chair, sitting here doing the coverage, including tomorrow with those 2 live streams. And during those live streams, Ethan will probably, hopefully, be here. Luck with have it. We will have live recon data. We will have live webcams. So we will be able to see the storm surge. We'll be able to see the winds. We will have live weather analysis, live satellite data. It's going to be pretty awesome. There's a lot that I'm putting into this. And so, yeah, I did it with Laura. I did it with Sally, I believe. I did it with Michael. I did it with Ian. I did it with Dorian. And I will do it again with Helene. All right, so yeah. Thank you so much, John. Well, actually, probably spam. I'm getting spam tonight. Why is this? Why is this? Stop the spam, people. Stop, 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 stop. Ethan, get to work. I'm just kidding.
Angela got that one.
Sweet. Ethan, guess what the pressure is on the system?
Yes. What is it?
985 millibars.
$9.85. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a big drop from the last update, anyway.
So it was 991 about 5 hours ago to 985. That's 6 millibar drop since about 6 o'clock tonight. Is that pretty substantial?
Yeah, that is. That's indicative of the strengthening that we're seeing with the system.
Wow. Jeez. Oh my gosh, Dirge, you're funny. New update from the NHC just came in. Let's see. You guys are awesome tonight. Thank you. And why are they are doing it in Central Time? This is the new update. Why didn't they intensify it? Isn't it supposed... Hold on. Yeah, so the cone did not update at all. You can see where the center is. So it is still forecasted to be a hurricane shortly. It is still forecasted to be a hurricane pretty shortly. But the winds are at 60 miles an hour. They're probably holding it until they get additional recon passes in there, is what I'm thinking. So
It could be.
That's probably one of the reasons why they're holding it. We will be here for one more recon pass to compare those two, because that will be about another hour from now. Roughly speaking, about another hour. Boy, isn't it amazing, Ethan, that they time it just right? They actually got in there right just before the 06Z time frame. That's amazing.
Yeah. It is. But I do want to briefly, I was typing this out, but it'd probably be better if I answered in person here. Florida Millennial, will we feel anything here in Miami? Miami's going to be pretty in a relative safe position on this in a sense. We don't have a whole lot of heavy rain concern, maybe some, depending on where the banding feature's set up. Maybe a tornado threat. Most of that's going to be up to the north, though. And on the wind side of things, some gusty winds are going to be possible. Wednesday night, Thursday, you're probably going to be seeing some gusts above 40, maybe in some cases 50 miles an hour. But you don't have any storm surge concern on the coast there. And there are no tropical storm or hurricane warnings in effect for the area. So conditions are not expected to be quite that bad. But I would say windy conditions, some locally heavy rain, probably going to be a lot of what you see in Miami. And this is mainly going to be Wednesday night into Thursday evening.
Well said, Ethan. Good job. Yeah, they fly out of Biloxi. Yep. Out of Gulfport. And they fly southward. And then they fly into here. Yeah, they fly very far. I know. I don't know why they do that. Well, that's because it's United States-owned aircraft anyways. That is pretty unfortunate that you said that. Cat 5 major hurricane. David Schlotthauer, I want to become stronger. Why do you want to be stronger? You are getting stronger. Your pressure is dropping. Now, Ethan, can you look at the... or can you see what I'm seeing?
Probably a little bit delayed.
All right, that's fine. So this wind field right here, it's not right by the center. Does that mean it's not compact, it's still broad, or is it compact? It's hard to tell here.
Good to tell. It's probably getting a little more compact.
Okay. So the fact that it's 987 millibars or 983, let's see what all of the models' initialization show at 06Z. Let's look at those. Let's rewind really quickly and see where we stand on that. Yeah, definitely not as strong as the halves B or the halves A. At this time, it wanted it down to 970 millibars, so that's not happening. HMON 983 and the HWRF 983. And this is weaker on its first pass through the center of the circulation, which I'm a little surprised because it dropped pretty quickly earlier. And it's 980. It's about
Yeah.
985, 986 millibars. And let's see if it's further to the... Let me turn off satellite really quick, because I need to see this. So that's where the center actually is, right there. Oops. That's where the center is there. Let me compare this to our initialized models. Wow, did a pretty good job, Ethan. Location-wise, but intensity-wise, not so much.
Okay.
So it is supposed to get stronger, though. It was 987 earlier, 983, so that was a pretty big drop in pressure. That would be a big drop. That's why we're going to have to wait to see if the deep convection on this still allows for explosive intensification.
Yeah. Do want to get some questions here, just because it works out a lot better for me here in the actual talking format here. I can get some more of them. Tallahassee area, we got a question. Tallahassee, you are going to be seeing some significant rainfall, and you do have the tropical storm warning in effect for that area, I believe. So, not as much on the wind side of things, and not quite as much on the on these. Wait a minute, let me check here. Make sure I've got so many places mixed up because I'm trying to answer a lot of these questions. Hurricane warning is in effect for the area. Okay, so hurricane force winds probably going to be likely Thursday, especially later in the day and into Thursday night. Very heavy rainfall too. You could have in some areas potentially 6 or more inches of rain. So that's going to be a big concern. Maybe an isolated tornado risk as well, but primarily your concerns are going to be hurricane force winds. So depending on how strong this gets, sustained winds could be above, 80 to 100 miles per hour. Could
Oh, and he cut out again. Boy, his internet does not like him tonight. His internet is just... So, this is the latest update from the NHC. Again, intermediate advisory. I thought, well, I don't know why I got this in my head that they're going to get the complete advisory out. But this is the 1 a.m. Central Daylight Time advisory. And right now, maximum sustained winds are at 60 miles an hour. And it is moving to the northwest at 10 miles per hour at the moment. And it is expected to turn north soon. Boy, this is going to get really close of clipping the northeastern end there of the Yucatan Peninsula, with tropical storm force winds already moving over the Cuba area, and then eventually a major hurricane. So no changes were made to the forecast with the extension here to tropical storm conditions, of course, for Florida. Same products are issued. Now, the complete advisories are when they do a intensity update, intensity and position update to the system. So we don't have anything really new in this update. We're just waiting for more recon data to come in. And then I'm going to have to get to bed. But this is definitely looking really organized tonight. A lot more organized than just when I started my stream. That outflow is really trying to develop. System really fighting its life right now, and it's doing pretty good at doing that right now. Now we have a pretty good solid area of convection cloud tops that are really cold. So we're going to see if a inner core structure does try to develop, and they did find stronger northwest winds. So they found winds of about 53 knots on that side, and they found winds of about 54, 57. So pretty symmetrical wind field right now, where we have this wind field that is in place. This is a sign that the system is pretty symmetric, and it is showing signs that it might be able to intensify at a much faster rate now. Well, it already is, and it's going to continue to do so. But really, by tomorrow is when this thing could really explode. Could as in always, because, of course, I don't want to assume that, oh, this is going to be a major hurricane. We know for a fact it will be a major hurricane. But a Cat 4, Cat 5, still possible, unfortunately. Still possible. So they're going to fly all the way out to here, and then this way, and then come back in again for another pass. But it does look like that the center is a little bit maybe offset from the mid-level vortex. Just by a little bit. But not by much. Not by much at all. Man, this thing is really taking full advantage, though. You could really see that deep convection. Again, if you guys are new to the stream and you really like the detailed weather live stream breakdowns on the live analysis, live update here on the channel, don't forget to like the stream. We're almost at 900 likes, getting close to 1,000. And also be sure you do subscribe to the YouTube channel for latest updates, because we will be live on this tomorrow, or technically today for you guys in Eastern time. So I will be live on this today twice, once in the morning and then once after I get back from my open house, which I may be back a little late, so I'll have to create the stream before I leave for open house. And hopefully I'll be able to go live by about 8 o'clock or 8:30. So, yeah. I'm still live, though. We're going to wait for one more pass from recon mission. One more pass. Uno lato. Oh, mis amigo. One more pass we will wait for. And they're going to go out like this. So they're going to fly out like this. And then out. And then back in again for another pass. And so I'm just going to get one quadrant here. And then after that is done, I'll call it a night. But until that happens, we will be live, interacting with you all. And Ethan is... Hopefully Ethan is okay. So it looked like it shifted east. Well, not really. It's in some models shifted a bit west, some keep it the same. I would say essentially maybe a hair to the west by about 1 or 2 miles. Not much of a difference in the last 6 to 12 hours with the shift to the west. North Georgia. So I'll try to get to your guys' questions. I am the only one on right now, so I'll try to get to those. North Georgia. So North Georgia is going to get a lot of rainfall out of this. Potentially, if we go to our rainfall total map right here, they did not update this just yet. So the rainfall totals up here in North Georgia will range between 6 to 8 inches. 6 to 8 inches of rainfall is anticipated, with up to 12 inches for the Appalachians due to that orographic flow. Oh, it's the internet, Jason. It's the internet that's acting up right now. Latest hero looks to be Western Eyewall approaching Tallahassee on this run, 960 millibars. Yeah. Well, it will weaken as it gets onshore, but it does make landfall. It does show it at about, I think it was like 960. Yeah, 960 millibars. Yeah. Which that's concerning. Now the euro is really uptrending. So we have pretty good confidence that this thing is going to be a very dangerous hurricane. All right, I'm back. Sweet. Okay. Ethan. Hello, Ethan.
Okay, I'm here.
Boy, your internet. Call the internet company up and figure out what the heck is going on. We are, by the way, 100 likes away from 1,000, folks. Boy, could we do this? We're ahead of where we were last night when we went live, so thank you all for liking the stream. I do love you guys. I care so much about you guys, and boy, I'll tell you right now, I have not slept very well. I have not slept very well to the point where I'm only sleeping 2 hours out of the night. I mean, I am not sleeping. I am not sleeping at all. That's how serious this storm actually is. Which is really bad.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is really bad because that's not good for my health at all, but I can't. My brain is just running millions of miles an hour, and it's just like, how am I going to do the stream tomorrow? How am I going to set it up? How am I going to do this? What is this storm going to look like tomorrow? It's just like, man, too much going at once. Too much going at once. I know people are going to tell me, David, just relax, take a deep breath, breathe in and breathe out. I've tried doing that. It doesn't work very well. It does not work. And so, instead of me sleeping long, I'm sleeping short at night, and then I have to take naps during the day. In between videos. I mean, it's ridiculous. I think it's my adrenaline. My adrenaline is just off the charts, I think, is probably one of the reasons why.
Could be.
985 they found, actually, severe weather center. Yeah, that's a very symmetrical wind max on either side. If we look at this right here, this is very symmetrical, and they actually found winds stronger on the northwestern side, which indicates that the system is actually intensifying. The wind field is very symmetrical. we can see that winds increase here and then they rapidly weaken. So we can get a clear idea and understanding that there is definitely a very symmetrical, organized wind field with winds that are at least 50 knots, 55 knots or greater on both ends, and surface frequency microwave radiometer winds that are near 55 knots. Which means this system has winds of about 65 to almost 70 miles an hour with hurricane force wind gusts, I'm sure, right now. And they are already...
Oh, probably.
They are... Yeah, and they're already going this way. So they're heading this way right now. And then they're going to make another... Oops, I went too far. And then they're going to be going this way. And then this way. Then this way. This way. This way. This way. Oops. Wait. Do. And then, yeah. Then they'll fly out. They usually do...
I do want to address... Oh, I'm sorry.
They do usually 4 or 5 passes through the center. So this is the first pass. Yep. Go ahead.
Yeah, I do want to address a question here and provide an update. Let me find this question again. I am sorry that I have not gotten to more of these questions. There are just so many, and the internet is not working with me here. What are the winds going to be like in South Choppy, Florida? Hurricane force winds are likely, because we do have a hurricane warning in effect, so depending on how strong this gets, we'll probably be seeing some wind gusts above 100 miles per hour in that area. Again, depending on how strong it gets and the exact track of it. I do see some tornado mentions occasionally pass by too, and I did want to update that we actually have a Day 2 enhanced risk by the Storm Prediction Center now. This is for coastal areas of Georgia, primarily, with a 10% tornado risk, but isolated tornado potential goes all the way from the central Florida Peninsula up through parts of the coastal and central South Carolina.
What did I tell you, folks? What did I tell ya? Possibly a strong tornado or two. I know there's no 10 sig on this, but 10% alone. I mean, we're going to have a tornado day. A tornado day on Thursday. Over this area of Georgia and South Carolina. And look at, even on the little tip of north portion there of Florida. So, yes, big tornado day. Certainly on the table on Thursday. Man, Ethan, this cannot get any more worse. Tornadoes on top of this hurricane. So not just you're going to get near tropical storm force winds, but you could also see tornado damage. I mean, seriously. Seriously.
Yep. That is a concern, especially with these mini supercells like we've been talking about, and they can be hard to predict, so that is something to keep in mind. Nathan asks, how about Ocala, Florida? Tropical storm conditions are likely there. As you head further west into Marion County, the conditions are going to get worse. You're going to have stronger winds, and coastal areas, more storm surge concern does come into play. Brent Jones, I heard 988 millibars is hurricane pressure level. Well, again, keep in mind that the Saffir-Simpson scale, which rates hurricanes into categories, that is based off of wind speeds and not pressure. Pressure and wind speeds are related, but it's not an exact thing, so we can't say a certain pressure is a specific intensity.
That was well said, Ethan. Great job.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Amanda, for subscribing. Just because we got to their question, Ethan, to Amanda's question, I believe. Thanks for the response. I'm now subscribed. So that's why we need to get to these questions as quickly as we can. Until the stream ends, at least. And it won't be long, Ethan. Hopefully by midnight I will be done once we get one more pass. Enhanced risk, though, for Brunswick, Savannah, St. Mary's in Georgia, though, like I said. Big tornado day is coming up for Thursday on top of a hurricane. Man, This is a disaster. This is not a good situation at all. And it's driven by a 10% chance of tornadoes.
Yeah, that really goes to speak to the multifaceted nature of this system, the multiple different hazards that you're going to be experiencing all the way from Florida up to the Carolina coast. That potential does exist. And where we get the best low-level instability, convergence, and the wind shear with that banding feature, that's where we're going to see most of the tornadoes show up. And at this moment, it's mainly forecast to be around the coastal Georgia area, but this could extend into, as mentioned before, places as far south as the Tampa area, Central Florida, all the way up to the coastal Carolinas.
Yeah. Interesting, Ethan, and explain that. Why can we get wind shear within these banding features that produce tornadoes? It's like, wait, it's a hurricane. I don't think there's no upper level low. There's no like a classic dry line setup. Like, why these tornado events within these banding features with the wind shear, but like, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, with a lot of these things here, we get very intense low-level wind fields. With hurricanes, tropical cyclones, any of those are going to produce really strong low-level wind fields. So the deep layer shear is not exactly there as much because we don't have, the typical Central Plains kind of setup. You can still get some strong deep layer shear, especially as you head closer to the system, but these are more common on the banding features because we get more potential for discrete thunderstorm modes, and those discrete modes are most prolific when it comes to rotation. So, where you've got that convergence maximized and low-level instability is present, which you can get under certain conditions on the edge of these systems, that's going to maximize updraft potential. And when you get vorticity, which is created by the wind shear, getting stretched by strong updrafts, especially in the low levels, that's where you can get these rotating thunderstorms, especially these smaller ones. Now, again, because we don't have that typical kind of plains environment, we don't typically get these really big supercells, but these smaller ones that are a little harder to predict, but can still produce some pretty sizable tornadoes depending on how strong they are. And so that's mainly what we're looking at here with that enhanced risk of severe weather.
And hey, that's an impact. Flooding, hurricane, damaging hurricane force winds, storm surge, high surf, tornadoes, and damaging thunderstorm winds too, by the way. There's a 5% out for that. So, yeah, and flooding from fresh water. This has everything. This has everything that you do not want to have with a hurricane. Well, not officially a hurricane, but a tropical storm, but soon to become a hurricane by tonight. I bet you $1 billion, folks, we will wake up tomorrow and we will have a hurricane Helene to deal with. Boy, we are about... Yeah, we are 10 likes away from 1,000 likes, folks. I love you guys. I literally do. So thank you for liking the stream. Thank you. Thumbs up. 7 up. Thumbs down. Not like thumbs down, but like thumbs up. I mean thumbs up. There we go.
Yeah, we appreciate each and every one of you. We couldn't do what we're doing today if not for the support and the interaction that you all give us. You really make the show, and that's why we appreciate all the likes, all the comments, all the questions. We appreciate all of it, and we appreciate you being with us.
I appreciate that. Oh, wow. 1,030 likes. Let's go far and beyond. Boy, could we hit 1,100 likes in this stream. So, and the neat thing about these streams at night is, hey, people are, well, at least our other YouTuber streamers are most likely asleep. I don't want to get over the top of myself on that, but I'm sure they're asleep right now. And the best part of Pacific time is that I can stream it till midnight and it's 3 in the morning back east when they're all asleep. So that's the advantage that I get here for you all from the West Coast in California. That it's only 11:29. Yeah, there it is. You can see the time on the bottom of the screen. Actually, you can see it right here. 11:30 p.m. Oh, Ryan Hall is probably awake. Well, why would he be awake at 2:30 in the morning? Who knows? I know who might.
Pensacola, Florida. Oh, I'm sorry.
I know who might be awake. Hold on, Ethan, really quick. Is Mr. Beast. Man, this is some deep convection right here. Wow.
Yeah, we've had a couple questions about Pensacola, Florida area. Pensacola is safe largely from this. You're going to have some gusty winds, possibly up to, 30, 35 miles an hour or so as you head through Thursday. Probably some enhanced rain potential as well, and maybe some locally heavy rainfall, but not really seeing too much in the way of storm surge or hurricane concerns in that area. So Pensacola, you're looking pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. Could get some winds up to about 15 to 20, though, from the north. But yeah, some breezy winds, but nothing like, say, Panama City, Florida. Wow, Panama City could get decimated. Seriously large wind field, though, on this, on the H-Mon. What really strikes me is the HAVS A has been really consistent on average, showing a pretty formidable system. We will see if that actually pans out, if these two models actually can, if they end up being correct, and boy, if they do. I've said it many times, if they end up being correct, we're going to have some catastrophic, perhaps unsurvivable impacts along the Big Bend here of the Florida coast. And I'm not saying this to freak you all out or scare you or fearmonger or anything. No, I'm not here to do that. But this, you got to understand, Cat 5 intensity or high-end Cat 4 or any type of major hurricane intensity can actually be unsurvivable if you don't treat it seriously. And that is why we're upping our production tomorrow with 2 live streams. And I might introduce a short tomorrow, actually. You know what? I actually will. I will do that in the 5 o'clock advisory or 4 o'clock advisory in Central Time. I will do a quick short update. So yes, I will have 3 content pieces out, 2 live streams, and a short tomorrow. Boy, I actually almost forgot about my vote poll that I have. For the people that have not voted yet, please do so. Please vote. We're only at 600 votes. So let's get that to 1,000 votes. The more votes we get, the more chances. We're already at 90% of the votes going for having me do a live stream twice tomorrow with a shorts feed that I'm just adding in. David, run. Why? Or what do you mean by run?
Angela says we have a storm surge request from a viewer, so if you want to pull up that map or something about that, David, I do want to answer a question about Panama City. Panama City is going to see some impacts from the system, but not as serious as what we're seeing like in Tallahassee, areas toward the Big Bend area. In Panama City, we're going to be seeing some tropical storm force winds probably, but your winds are a little bit more offshore in that area, so storm surge concerns. Again, not very much. From Indian Pass to Mexico Beach, you've got maybe 1 to 3 feet based on current predictions. But in Panama City, mostly a tropical storm force wind and heavy rain concern. You're going to be seeing some pretty hefty rainfall totals in the central Florida panhandle. based on the current predictions, and that leads to enhanced potential for flash flooding and related concerns. So Panama City, not as much on the hurricane impact, but some heavy rain, potentially in excess of 6 inches, and some strong winds are probable.
Oh, yeah. But really, really, what really catches my eye is this right here. This storm surge. I mean, can you imagine 15 feet of storm surge? I mean, imagine your two-story house overall is about 12 feet high, or even 13. Well, wait, 8 plus 8, 8. About 16 feet high. Ethan, storm surge of 15 feet is up to a two-story building. Engulfs a entire two-story building almost.
Yeah, and that's why we say storm surge is the number one hazard to be concerned about with these. Um, Storm surge is a really, really destructive force, and that's why folks that are along the coast in particular need to, if you're in an evacuation order, please get out of the area, uh, if at all possible, because the damage that that is capable of producing is very significant. And we saw that with past hurricanes as well. Jacksonville, Florida, we had a question about that. I just wanted to answer briefly, I believe from Jason here. Jacksonville, you do have a tropical storm watch that's in effect. So you're going to be seeing some strong winds Thursday night, maybe into early Friday as well. Storm surge concerns aren't quite as great, but 1 to 3 feet will be possible as you head toward more coastal areas. And in addition to that, Thursday we do have potential for a couple of tornadoes as well. There will probably be a long duration tornado watch for areas like Jacksonville, with potential mainly Thursday into Thursday night for a couple of tornadoes.
Yeah. So back to the storm surge really quickly, because the key messages haven't updated. I just kind of rolled through that while Ethan was doing his nice formal discussion there. So I wanted to go to the storm surge map. See if I could, yeah, right here. And I wanted to show you something, Ethan. You could learn a little bit from this too. Brother Ethan.
Yes.
So our storm surge in some of the estuaries where the water really amplifies and piles up, if this makes landfall at a category 4 or 5, if it does, if it does, storm surge could be greater than 18 or even 20 feet above ground level. And that's what I'm really concerned about with some of the isolated storm surge prone areas. Man, this could be catastrophic, unsurvivable perhaps, especially right along the immediate shoreline, right immediately here. The storm surge could be I could say worse words than say I could say worser words than just say unsurvivable. I really can, but I'm not going to, because it's looking that bad. Ethan, we got a super, and I mean a super chat in the chat that we have not had tonight. And a lot of likes go to that. Super Ethan Big Man Hug. Thank you, Jason Brawley, for the $100 donation. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Wow.
Absolutely, Jason. Thank you so much. That is really a massive help to David and the channel as a whole. That's really a great thing, and I certainly appreciate that, and I truly do thank you for that. Absolutely.
I appreciate that. I really do. Because, boy, again, it's not easy. I literally have to reschedule stuff. I mean, I was going to go to AT&T today and see about where my new iPhone is, but I'm like, you know what? That's not important. This is more important. This hurricane's more important to me and to you all that are watching. Luckily, excuse me, sorry, I'm coughing a lot tonight. It's just probably a little bit of nasal drip. It's a good thing that I'm not doing my second job until Friday. Oh my goodness. Because I would probably be pretty upset right now if I had to work on Thursday. But no, I am not working on Thursday, and we're looking good. We're looking good. Favorable environment for my live stream. Nothing to inhibit it, Ethan, like negative factors. Work is not coming in until Friday. That's the upper level trough, and that increases the wind shear. And I'm in a very favorable environment for live streaming.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yes. Thank you for the $20 donation, folks. I appreciate the $20 donation. I shouldn't say folks because it's not more than one person. Well, more than one person donated tonight, but like individual person. Thank you. On Delvis Soto. I love your last name, Soto. Soto. But yeah, Jason, super quadruple super chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Wow. Yeah, and I'm going to see if I need to figure out on how to donate to the Red Cross and charity. My grandma's going to have to help me with that, honestly. And she even told me, my grandma even told me that, David, you need to actually donate to the Red Cross with something like this. I'm like, yeah, I know. We're going to do that. But she's going to have to help me on how to do that. I don't know how to I know how to transfer money, but like to do it through an internet, like through a website source. It shouldn't be that hard. Because man, oh man, this could I don't want to say it's going to be like Michael or anything, but it could be pretty substantial. Ethan?
Yes.
Look in chat. I believe we got another.
Messages are going by.
We got another $100 donation.
Oh my gosh, wow. Wow, Jason, you're the superstar of the chat tonight.
I want to say thank you. I really do. Even so I'm
Yeah,
sitting
absolutely, Jason.
Even so I'm sitting
I'm sorry.
behind a computer screen in my office, not actually going over there to Florida and tracking this I feel like I'm in Florida right now. I really do. I feel like I'm there in Florida and tracking this. More super chats continue to come in. Thank you, Devin Hines for the $5 donation. And he does say, both of you do a great job at explaining, simplifying, and just straight up helping us out. Both of you are amazing. Thank you for that. And Christopher said, good job with appears to be like a kitty cat with its ears. Thank you, Christopher Campfield, for that donation. And Ethan, after the stream is over, we've got to talk really quickly. It won't be long. I'm one more recon pass. I just want one more bite from the shark. One more bite from the recon aircraft, and then I'll call it a night. But we do need to talk a little bit, okay? If you don't mind, afterwards. It won't be long, for about 3 or 4 minutes. But yeah, it's going to be a long haul the next couple of days tomorrow and, my goodness, on Thursday. I really hope I have the energy and the words to say that can keep me going for 12 hours on Thursday. Man, it's not going to be easy, but I think we can do it. I've done it before. It's just gonna have some help. I'm gonna need to have some help because I will have to take breaks intermediately. I can't sit in the chair 12 straight hours without getting up. Not good for my health. And so I will need some help on that. Oh, Ethan.
Wow, this is incredible. The support that you guys are giving us tonight, DB, recently with that incredible, that's, your support is just enormous tonight, and we are immensely thankful for that. As I said before to Jason here just a minute ago, by helping the channel the way that you are, you're helping a lot of people. We are helping us by helping the channel to reach hundreds, even thousands of people to help them learn more about the system and what impacts they can expect and how to stay safe. So it's not just us that's, doing this, it's you all that are helping in this process, and we are immensely, immensely grateful for that. Thank you.
I'm about to tear up. With joy, man. With joy. I don't like showing my emotions like this on chat, but like, man, you guys, it's not easy. It's not easy. So DB, I want to read this to you. I want to read this super chat. Good stuff. Really enjoy. Let me actually zoom this out so you guys can see the whole satellite picture instead of me just kind of like super zoom in view. Good stuff. Really enjoy your knowledge and stream. I strongly encourage you to follow and or picture in picture Jim Cantori from the Weather Channel. He's over 90% accurate with major hurricane landfalls. He's currently in Port Richey. Go, Grandma. Go get water, brother. Thank you. I'm about to get emotional, Ethan. I gotta. Can you talk?
Yeah. Hold on a second here. We are. Please don't spam anyone. That's not a good thing. Hold on a second here. And there we go. Anyway, yeah, thank you all. I mean, the support is just incredible. And we got more support. DB, thank you so much. This is enormous here. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen such support. You guys are incredible, and it is hard to put into words just how much we appreciate that. I mean, that is amazing of all of you, and we really just can't explain it fully just how much we truly do appreciate that, and how much this helps us to get the word out, helps the channel, and by doing that might even save people's lives. So think about that. That is incredible. We do have some more questions here. We do have expected Smith Creek, Florida. Let me look that up actually. Smith Creek, Florida. 'Cause we got a lot of different people from a lot of different areas tonight, and we're looking.
So while you're looking that up, second pass is on its way in right now of the recon mission. I am strong. I am strong. I'm not going to let the emotions of sadness, of joy get in the way of me. I'm going to plow through this. But I'll tell you, after this stream, I'm just probably gonna want to cry behind the scenes. I don't like doing that, but it hits. It hits down here in the chest. It really does. It does. So
yeah, absolutely.
So
I just
yeah, go ahead.
I'm so, yeah, I just want to get to this question that we had really quickly. Smith Creek, Florida, that area is under a hurricane and storm surge warning, so these areas are going to be seeing significant impacts as we head through. Uh, that's just to the southwest of Tallahassee, near the coast, actually. So Wakulla County, we do have some evacuation alerts, I believe. Yes, evacuation. All evacuation zones are under mandatory evacuation in Wakulla County. Uh, this is for citizens by no later than 8 a.m. on Thursday to evacuate. So, Wakulla County, some serious impacts coming in there. Storm surge is going to be bad, and the winds are probably going to be bad as well. Jason coming in again. Jason, thank you. I mean, seriously, that is enormous. And again, think of what this might do to help. By helping the channel, it might help us to save lives. So that is really incredible, and we do appreciate you, Jason, and all of you, DB as well, and the others who have donated as well. We don't leave you out. We appreciate all of you so much. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts, and we mean that. Maurice, Columbia, South Carolina, I did answer that earlier, but I want to reiterate on that too. Some heavy rain concerns and some strong winds probably Thursday. You also have potential for some isolated tornadoes as well. So do keep that in mind.
Also,
those are going to be your main hazard.
Also, someone asked, bro just left. Sorry, folks, I had to get some new water. I had to get more water, and I tried to sip and not much came out, so I had to go back and get more water. So that's why. I did not leave because my emotions, don't worry, we're good, we're good. But I'll tell you, I feel it inside, I really do, but we'll worry about that later. I don't want to get that in the way of this because we are still tracking this live right now, as we're seeing it. Second pass is on its way in of the recon data. And Ethan, our pressure in relative spec to the storm is probably a little deeper. And I smell grapes outside. I love the smell of wine. That's why I like when they pick our grapes. The first week after they do, you can just smell that aroma, that wine grape aroma. So what we're looking at, folks, is this is actually right off of Radar Omega. All right. I wish I could sponsor them, but Radar Omega, you can go to Radar Omega right now. So I'll just go to there. And guess what? You can look at all kinds of, by the way, I missed that super chat up there earlier. Thank you, Jason, for the $100 donation from earlier. So Radar Omega, let's go to Radar Omega. So you could actually go here and download it. It's a really good website where you can get live radar data on your mobile device, on the computer, and most importantly, even off your smartphone. It is a really good radar software. Because guess what? You cannot just show recon data. But guess what, Ethan? What else can this do, Ethan? It could show us power outage maps, right? Like if we go to the power outage and we go to state outages, we can see which states are without power right now. This updates every 5 minutes. Every 5 minutes in real time. And thank you, DB, for becoming a Tropical Storm member of the channel. I'm also going to have to work at putting things special. I think I'm going to do a lot more when I get the new flight simulator when it comes out, because the new Microsoft Flight Simulator, they're actually adding in realistic hurricanes, realistic tornadoes. Huh, Ethan? You saw that. We watched it together that one night, huh?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I'm thinking about doing that for members only, like do a recon mission, me actually in the flight simulator, and me flying into these systems. Maybe I'll do once in a while for all people that are interested in watching that eventually. And it comes out around my birthday, which is even special. Thank you, Microsoft, for making that possible. So that's the power outage map. You could also view the Climate Prediction Center as well. So you get everything in one program. You can see here the next 6 to 10 days, the next 8 to 14 days. You can even see precipitation chances in the next 2 weeks on this, and even in the next 3 months. How is that for you? And cool thing is, I think it's only $11.99 a month or $10.99 a month for alpha version, where you get all of the futures. You get everything with this. It is good. And I've been subscribed to Radar Omega for, gosh, for a while. At least for a few years. And it is pretty cool. It really is. Radar at your fingertips. Yes, live radar, live cameras. Yeah, look at this. I can show you this right here. This is real-time weather right here. These live cameras are just really cool what the program can actually provide. I know it might be a little expensive. But hey, you get everything with it. You do get everything with it. Look at Cancun. So see, there's no radar site in Cancun. I wish their API would actually tap in. We could view it in Germany. The radar is there, and we could even look at, say, over here, even in Guam, but yet they don't have any radar site in Cancun. They do, but it's not for Radar Omega. But that's when this gets involved. This is windy.com, and yes, this is not free, of course. You would have to pay to get these radar images on the premium account version. But Ethan, we have a little bit of a problem.
Yes.
I think that's an eye forming. Shoot. Before we do that, pressure has not fallen. Wow. Has not fallen in the last pass. So, Ethan, that's incredible. There's deep convection with this, but why is the pressure not falling? Why do you think that's not doing it?
I don't know. It's probably just that it hasn't organized enough for that to really fall further. We're not getting that central convection wrapping around it quite as much at this point, but we will probably see that as we head through the morning hours.
Okay. So, yeah, the pressure has not dropped. Extrapolated pressure 987, 986, 986.2 is the lowest we have gotten right here. Not as low as what we had in their first pass through the center. Actually, you know what, Ethan? This low-level center is not moving at all, because on their first pass, the low-level center was here, and then on their second pass, it actually moved eastward. It's moving eastward a little bit. So it retrograded. It literally stopped moving. It's not moving at all right now. Oh no, Ethan, your internet. Your internet.
Can you hear me?
I could hear you now. I could hear you now. Hello?
Yeah, it went out for a second there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sold out. That's interesting. I don't think that was necessarily expected, but it will probably resume its movement in the through the morning.
Yeah, because on their first pass, this is their first pass, folks, right? So if we actually zoom in, or yeah, so this is the path that they took through the system right here. Okay. That was their first leg. And then they went out here, and then they looped all the way around, and now they made their second pass in. And where the winds are light, where there's no wind, is where the wind is calm. So here, there is no wind at all. 0 mile-an-hour winds, 2 knots at most. 2 knot winds, and then here, 1 knots. So here they got pretty much the exact center. Pretty much at this point they did. And so you can see the center might have migrated a little bit to the east. Just a little bit. Which is very interesting that, one, the pressure hasn't fallen anymore. And 2, that I don't know if it's trying to reorientate itself. We saw this happen last night. And it did deepen a little bit once that happened. So I don't know if it's trying to do that again tonight. Very interesting, though. Very interesting. And so far, the pressure is not as low as what we originally thought. But that does not mean that the system will not rapidly intensify. It does not mean it's going to be weaker. Treat this like it will be a Cat 3, a Cat 4, or even, well, I shouldn't even say it. We'll just say Cat 4 at the moment. Treat this like it will be a Cat 3 or a Cat 4 hurricane moving over the Big Bend of Florida. All right, but anyways, I think that's going to conclude this live stream, everybody. Before I do end it, I really want to give a big thank you to all of you that joined tonight, and also that liked the stream and subscribed to the YouTube channel. We are already up to 28,610 subscribers. I mean, that's incredible. So thank you all for subscribing to the YouTube channel, and thank you, wow, DB, for the $50 donation again. Thanks again. Keep doing what you're doing, brother. You'll blow up as soon as a streamer. That's a guarantee. You got another one in, yeah, Jason. Digo, Grandma, go Ethan, Night All. P.S. If it hooks 25 miles east, $300 to stream. Wow. Thank you so much. All right. All right, Severe Weather Center, thank you for that. So I love you guys. Peace out, and I will be back in the morning. I don't want to forget to say that I will be streaming at 8 in the morning. I'm going to have to get up at 7 or 6:30 in the morning to create the thumbnail and title. Oh, man, it's going to be a long one, 4-hour stream, just like we rehearsed. And I will go live 12 hours, well, less than 12 hours from now, because I'll be going live at 8 in the morning Pacific Daylight Time, and we'll do it again until about noon today. So 8 in the morning until noon, we will be live doing the exact same thing like we did tonight, only it's in the morning into the early afternoon hours. As always, folks, have a good night. Love you guys, and I'll be back with you more today. More today coming. All right. Mwah! Mwah!